Mheshimiwa, tuombe. Ewe Mwenyezi Mungu, ambaye kwa hekima na wema wako umetoa nyadhifa za viongozi na mabunge kwa ustawi wa jamii na utawala haki wa wanadamu, tunakusihi utasame kwa neema nyingi sisi watumishi wako ambao wameridhika kutuita ili tutekeleze shughuli muhimu za jamhuri yetu. Tunakuomba uteremshie baraka zako sisi tuliokutanika hapa, na utujalie tuyatende na kufikiria mambo yote yatakayofikishwa mbele yetu kwa njia ya haki na uaminifu, ili utukufu na sifa zako ziendelezwe, na ili kustawisha amani, ufanisi na heri ya nchi yetu na wale ambao haja zao umezikabidhi mikononi mwetu. Amen. Sergeant, you may continue ringing the bell. Honorable members, we now have quorum to transact business. Clerk.
Order number 1, administration of oath. Order number 2, communication from the chair.
Honorable members, I have a communication, a notification of legislative proposals to amend Articles 88 and 89 of the Constitution. Honorable members, pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 1147A, I wish to notify the House that I have approved pre-publication scrutiny of 2 legislative proposals seeking to amend the Constitution by the member for Mandera North, the Honorable Major Bashir Sheikh Abdullahi MP, and the member for Thika Town constituency, the Honorable Alice Nganga MP. Honorable members, the first proposal seeks to amend Article 88 of the Constitution to provide that in instances where the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission IEBC is not fully constituted, the Secretary of the IEBC shall discharge the duties and functions of the Commission with regards to the conduct of by-elections. The second proposal seeks to amend Article 89 of the Constitution to require the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission to ensure that the review of constituent boundaries does not result in the loss of constituency that existed before the promulgation of the Constitution 2010. Honorable members, the manner of amending the Constitution through parliamentary initiative is provided for and Article 256 of the Constitution. Standing Order 1147A actualizes this process in the National Assembly by providing as follows, and I quote, "Members at the bar, take the nearest seats. Take the nearest seats. Thank you. And I quote Article 7A, in respect of a proposal to amend the Constitution, the proposal shall be accompanied by the signatures of at least 50 other members in support, unless it is sponsored by the majority party or the minority party. Where the Speaker approves the pre-publication scrutiny of the proposal, the Speaker shall notify the House of the approval and may, 1, allow the sponsor to make a statement on the objectives of the proposal. 2, allow comments on the statement made by the member. 3, facilitate collation of the views from the comments of members at an appropriate forum. And 4, invite members with similar or related proposals to make submissions before the committee to which the proposal is referred. Honorable members, this procedure is informed by the decision of the High Court in petition number E282 of 2020, consolidated with petitions numbers 397 of 2020, E400 of 2020, E41 of 2020, E402 of 2020, E416 of 2020, E426 of 2020, and 2 of 2021, which states that a bill proposing to amend the Constitution cannot be amended once it has been published. This procedure in our standing orders therefore aims to collate as many views as possible from as many stakeholders and experts as may be practicable before a proposal to amend the Constitution is published. Indeed, I note that the proposals by the two honorable members have complied with the first part of this provision, having obtained signatures of more than 50 members of this House. As your Speaker, my obligation is therefore to facilitate the rest of the processes as provided for in the standing orders. In this regard, and in keeping with the requirements of the said standing order, I wish to notify the sponsors, that is the member for Mandera North and the member for Thika Town, that on Wednesday, December the 6th, 2023, I'll accord them an opportunity of not more than 15 minutes each to make general statements outlining the contents and objectives of their proposals. Honorable members, in order to facilitate the initial stage of collation of members' views, I'll therefore nominate a time for the House to make general comments on the proposal. Subsequently, I will refer the proposals to the Departmental Committee on Justice and Legal Affairs or issue other directions in view of the comments that will be made by members during the proceedings. Any member with similar or related proposals will be at liberty to make submissions to the committees for consideration in line with the Standing Order 1147A. Honorable members, in the meantime, the Clerk of the National Assembly is hereby directed to circulate the legislative proposals to all members, and the House is accordingly guided. Thank you. Next.
Order number 3, messages. Order number 4, petitions.
Honorable members, there are 2 petitions, one to be presented by yours truly, and the second by Honorable Member for Chepalungu, Victor Koech. After presentation, then we'll allow you a few minutes to make comments on both. Honorable members, I have a petition regarding enactment of the Kenya Robotics and Artificial Intelligence Society Bill 2023. Honorable members, Article 119 of the Constitution accords any person the right to petition Parliament to consider any matter within its authority. Further, Standing Order 2252B requires the Speaker to report to the House any petition other than those presented by a member. Honorable members, in this regard, I wish to report to the House that my office has received a petition from one Fred Ondieki Sagwe, passport number BK117283, representing the Robotics Society of Kenya, RSK. The petitioner states that the Robotics Society of Kenya, RSK, is a registered non-profit organization registered as R54783, based in Kenya with a mission to promote computing in institutions and communities through robotics, artificial intelligence, physical computing, makerspace, Internet of Things, STEAM, chess education, and research. The petitioner further states that the fields of robotics and artificial intelligence are rapidly growing with the potential to revolutionize many industries, including healthcare, manufacturing, and retail, and improve human lives in many ways, ranging from increasing efficiency to creating new jobs and businesses. Honorable members, despite the upside of artificial intelligence, the petition highlights concerns relating to privacy, security, and civil rights. A case in point, the WorldCoin platform that has been criticized for lack of scrutiny of security and privacy in features. The petitioner explains that to tackle these challenges, the European Union has developed the Artificial Intelligence Act, which is expected to be fully approved by the end of the year. The use of artificial intelligence in the European Union will be regulated by the world's first comprehensive law on artificial intelligence. The petition therefore prays that the National Assembly enacts legislation to formally establish the Kenya Robotics and Artificial Intelligence Society as a professional body which will immensely assist in regulating, promoting, and facilitating the activities of robotics and artificial intelligence practices in the country. Honorable members, having established that the matters raised in the petition is well within the authority of this House, and further that the matters raised in this petition are not pending before any court of law, constitutional or legal body, I hereby commit the petition to the Public Petitions Committee for consideration pursuant to Standing Order 208A. The committee is required to consider the petition and report its findings to the House and to the petitioner in accordance with the Standing Order 2272. I thank you. Member for Chebalungu.
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker. I, the undersigned, on behalf of the residents of Chepalungu Sub-County, draw the attention of the House to the following: that the harsh climatic conditions in Chepalungu Sub-County have become a great concern to the residents who are left with no clear sources of livelihood. That Chepalungu Sub-County meets the requirement of hardship area due to its land being purely black cotton soil and fairly flat terrain, leading to deplorable road network that have to be redone every year. Armed movements amongst the locals, lack of clean drinking water, and basic social amenities, among others. That the geographical orientation and rocky terrain in most parts of sub-county have made it impossible for public service providers, among them the Kenya Power Lightning Company, to access the villages, leading to extremely low electricity connection. That the fairly flat terrain and poor road network of infrastructure makes the area inaccessible, with limited access to clean water and equally low access to water for farming. With surveys showing that the water table is at an average of 220 meters below the surface, with low yields, making the process of drawing underground water very expensive and uneconomical. That with over 201 primary schools and 97 secondary schools in Chepalungu Sub-County, teachers posted to these schools have been reluctant to take up jobs, with those posted seeking transfers elsewhere due to non-payment of hardship allowances by the government. That there are very few medical facilities, making the locals travel long distances in search of medical care. That Chepalungu sub-county borders two constituencies which are in the same climatic conditions, yet both have been gazetted as hardship areas. That despite Chepalungu sub-county having met the criteria used to qualify and gazette it as hardship area, the government and the relevant ministries and or agencies have not been effected to date. And that the matters raised in these petitions are not pending before any court of law, constitutional, or any other legal body. Therefore, your humble petitioners praise that the National Assembly, through the Public Petitions Committee, 1, recommends to the relevant ministry, agencies, to gazette Chepalungu sub-county as hardship area, and makes any other appropriate recommendations it deems fit in addressing the circumstances raised in this petition. And yours petitioners will ever pray. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Member for Chepalungu. Yes, Honorable Murugara.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, sir. The two petitions are well timed. The one on robotics, I may not have a lot to say about it, but the petitions committee should actually look at it to see whether these robotics would be of great benefit to the country and to the economy, especially at a time like now. As regards the petition by Honorable Victor Koech Mandazi of Chepalungu, again, this is timely. We have had many members of parliament coming here to petition the House to recommend the gazettement of various areas as hardship areas. I have actually also brought a petition to gazette the Raka constituency as far as the rest of the civil service is concerned as a hardship area, because for TSC and judiciary, the Raka constituency is a hardship area. And I continue to pursue that petition because it has not been implemented in spite of it being passed by this House. The same applies to a sub-county in Tharaka Nithi known as Igamba-Ng'ombe, a very dry area similar to Tharaka, which should actually be gazetted as a hardship sub-county in the country. These are areas that should not be ignored, and these motions that are brought and the petitions that are brought to the House, once passed by the House, once the petitions committee makes a recommendation, we would implore the committee on implementation to have these implemented the way they are passed by the House, because Kenyans are waiting. There are many areas that need to be hardship areas, but they are not yet gazetted. Therefore, I do plead the case for Igamba-Ng'ombe sub-county also to be included as a hardship area. Thank you.
I see a lot of members on the screen. Are they on these petitions? Abraham Kirwa.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity. I want to actually support this motion by the member of Chepalungu about the hardship, gazetting some areas to be hardship. This has been an issue that has affected a lot of constituencies,
Clerk,
including...
give 2 minutes to each member. Kirwa, you have 2 minutes. Compose your submissions.
Yes, including Mosop, where we have truly a big problem along the Nandi escarpment. Most of the schools along those areas, Mr. Speaker, no teacher wants to go there because the area itself is harsh. And as such, if this is done, if most of these areas are really considered to be hardship areas, it will attract most of the teachers so that it will actually help most of the learning institutions so that the students in those areas will get good teachers. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I stand to support. Thank you.
Rachel Nyamai.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I rise first of all to support the petition which has been read by yourself on behalf of one Victor Koech. Honorable Speaker, there is a lot of use of artificial intelligence in our country and without much regulation. People who are visually handicapped, people who are physically handicapped, are using different gadgets to get to move, to get to understand their surroundings without regulating these kind of gadgets. Also, artificial intelligence is being used in marketing sector, in banking sector, in security, where in identification of faces and eyes, Honorable Speaker. Sometimes our data is taken without even noticing that it is being taken and stored. It is being used in medical diagnostics and also in education. So I think it is very important to have this matter discussed in this House and possibly have some form of regulation of artificial intelligence. Honorable Speaker, on the matter that has been brought by the member for Chepalungu, I would like to say that I support this petition. I have realized that Mutomo and Ikuda sub-counties, Honorable Speaker, the two sub-counties that I represent in this House, are identified as some of those that have been removed. And Honorable Speaker, I support the petition, and I'll be there also to stand with the people of Mutomo and Ikuda that we are highly marginalized, and our people need to remain in that list of marginalized. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Beatrice Lachi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I also rise to support, Mr. Speaker, especially the robotics, and I think what the committee should do is more research, that you find, so that you don't find ourselves in a crisis where at one point we had machines coming to Kericho, and they are like robots, by the way, and we have a lot of conflict. So it's good to do research. It's a good design in terms of assisting humans, but we need to ask ourselves as a country if indeed we are ready for it, because it's more advanced, it's technology, it reduces human when you're doing work. So it's one thing we need to do a research. For the issue of hardship, Mr. Speaker, we've had this issue here. And at one point I stood and I said, if we are talking about hardship, then we have, when you look at the crisis that we have in the country today, you'll find every county or every constituency in terms of that hardship. It doesn't matter whether it's hardships of teachers. You'll find, Mr. Speaker, crisis with children. All those are things that are creating hardships within every areas that we have. So it's something this House has to discuss and agree that either we say every corner of this country, people are facing hardships, but then if you bring it in clustering, Mr. Speaker, we'll always have these issues. So I support, and we also need to do, again, more research on it. Thank you.
Robert Bukose.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I stand to support the petition which you presented, Honorable Speaker, on issues about robotics and artificial intelligence. In medicine, we use robotics mainly in operations, and many of these use of robotics are actually not well regulated, and I think it will be important that we have a law, because this is new technology. It is it's a new field, and therefore I think it's important that even as we use it, we have to have a law that governs its use and its regulations, so that even when somebody gets injury from it, then the person should be able to be well compensated, and somebody has to take responsibility. On the issue about hardship by Honorable Victor, aka Mandasi, Honorable Speaker, it's not just Chepalungu, but this is something that has been recurring in this House, where members present about hardships. I wonder who does the assessment or regulations of which are the hardship areas. And I think the issue they used in the past is no longer viable, because they were using areas of dry areas. But you'll find that there are areas with hard terrain. Like in my Endebess, you talk of Salama, you talk of Chepkirot, Chemgengen, Kashaber, and Kibosit. Hard terrain where even a teacher is posted will not want to go to those places. So I think we need to redefine the issue about hardship areas and do proper assessment of hardship areas. With those few remarks, I support.
Mangale Chiforomondo.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I stand to support the petition by one Honorable Koech. This issue of hardship is so important. important, Mr. Speaker, because then in my constituency, that is Lungalunga constituency or Lungalunga sub-county, the area is, or it deserves to be gazetted as hardship. All means and purpose to do so, I have personally followed up the issue to the PS and to very high offices. But Mr. Speaker, we are being taken round and round. And I think this House should actually have more say in when it comes to hardship gazettement. So I want to support that there are areas like the highlands where teachers cannot stay. When they are posted, they look for transfers. And also, bigger part of Lungalunga, it's semi-arid. So I support and I beg and request that this issue be given the importance it deserves. Thank you.
Member for Kamkunji. Member for Kamkunji, Yusuf Hassan.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I stand, first of all, to comment on the request from the Honorable Member for Chepalunga. I think we may need to look more comprehensively at this issue because it appears as if every neighborhood in our country could be declared an area.
From 200 shillings to a 500 to a high of 500 shillings in some areas due to the impassable state of the on-farm roads. Consequently, this has increased the cost of rice production substantially, and this is what the Kenya Kwanza government is seeking to reduce. Honorable Speaker, the current approach of scheme management is participatory irrigation management, where the government, through the National Irrigation Authority and the farmers, through their organizations, have partnered in the management of the irrigation scheme. The rice farmers contribute up to 5,000 annually to the National Irrigation Authority as an operation and management fee, commonly known as O&M fee. Out of this, 3,000 shillings goes to the main crop, whereas 2,000 shillings is used up for ratoon. Honorable Speaker, it is against this background that I seek for a statement from the chairperson, Departmental Committee on Blue Economy, Water and Irrigation on the following. 1, what is the status of on-farm roads within Moya constituency, within Moya rice scheme, with details of how the operation and maintenance fee paid by farmers, totaling to approximately 150 million, is used up or is spent every year. 2, I seek for the chairperson to provide audited accounts and the said operations and maintenance fee for at least the last 3 years. 3, explain reasons why the Scheme Management Committee, as provided in Section 8, 2C of the Irrigation Act 2019, has not been put in place to date. 4, information on when the last distilling of feeder canals and drainage took place in the Moya Irrigation Settlement Scheme. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Mary. Chair, Blue Economy, is he here? Who is the chair of Blue Economy? Owen Kangogo. You advise him that I direct that because we are going on long recess Thursday next week, if he can, he should bring the statement then on Thursday morning. In the event he's unable, then I direct that he writes to the member directly, because the answer and response to this statement will not come after the long recess. Okay? Member for Runyenjes, Muchangi Karemba.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 44 2C, I wish to request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Administration and Internal Security regarding the rampant theft of coffee in Runyenjes constituency. Honorable Speaker, in the last 3 months, there has been rampant theft of coffee within Runyenjes constituency. For instance, on the 26th of August 2023, there was an attempted theft of bags of coffee belonging to New Runyenjes Cooperative Society. And on 25th November 2023, an unknown number of bags of coffee belonging to Ena Coffee Factory, Kangondu Coffee Factory, Dori Coffee Factory were stolen. The recurring theft has caused anxiety amongst the farmers and risks negatively affecting the economy of the constituency. It is imperative that adequate security be provided to ensure that the struggling farmers are assured of the security of their farm outputs to guarantee their common well-being. This is especially crucial as coffee is a major cash crop and a foreign export earner. Therefore, ought to be considered as critical infrastructure. Honorable Speaker, it is against this background that I request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Administration and Internal Security on the following. 1. Could the chairperson provide information on the measures put in place by the Ministry of Interior and National Administration to enhance security within the constituency and in other coffee-growing areas? 2. What measures is the ministry taking to ensure the perpetrators are arrested and persecuted without delay? I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Karemba. Is the chairman of security here? Sorry. Is it Tongoyo? He's not here. Owen Bayer? Give him the same direction as the one in relation to... Yes, Russell. I direct that you bring the response on Thursday next week, which will be the last day of this session. In the event you have any difficulty, write to the member.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Much obliged.
Next, Honorable Kazungu Tungule, member for Ganze. Give the member the mic. You're giving to the wrong people. Yeah, there he is.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity. I rise to request for a statement regarding the death of 3 workers in a drainage and clogging operation in Mombasa. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provision of Standing Order 44 2C, I wish to request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Transport and Infrastructure regarding the tragic death of 3 casual workers in Mombasa County. Honorable Speaker, on Friday, the 24th November 2023, 7 casual workers were unclogging a manhole at Makupa roundabout when they got stuck inside the main drainage systems. Despite rescue efforts, only 4 of the workers were rescued and rushed to hospital, where they are currently receiving treatment. Sadly, 3 workers, who were all residents of Ganze constituency, drowned and have been identified as follows. Number 1, Joseph Charo Gilo, of ID number 23370540, from Paziani sublocation in Bamba location. We have Alphonse Saidi Ngwaya of ID number 22793968 from Lutswani sublocation in Mzaratatu location, and Kadhengi Said Ngumbao of ID number 23857964 from Mirihini sublocation in Digria location. Honorable Speaker, this unfortunate incident is as a result of the neglected state of drainage tunnels at Makupa roundabout. It is reported that the constant clogging of the tunnel has been caused by the erection of a drainage system on top of another system during the construction of the road by the Kenya National Highways Authority. This has made it an onerous task to adequately deal with many blockages or any blockages. With the current El Nino rains and the continued adverse weather conditions, there is an urgent need for the government to take immediate action to address the matter relating to the drainage system at Makupa roundabout and other affected areas. Honorable Speaker, it is against this background that I request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Transport and Infrastructure on the following. A, what plans has the Kenya National Highways Authority put in place to assess the existing drainage infrastructure at Makupa roundabout and rectify it? B, what emergency preparedness protocols are in place to mitigate any future disasters? And C, what plans are in place to adequately compensate the families of Mr. Joseph Charo Jilo, Mr. Saidi Alphonse, and Mr. Kadhengi Ngumbao, and those who sustained injuries in the incident? Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Chairman, Transport. Thought I saw GK here. Owen Bayer, transmit the direction in the same manner as the other two statements. Thank you. Majority Leader.
Honorable Speaker, thank you very much for this opportunity to present the usual statement by the Leader of the Majority on Thursdays. This is the 030-2023 statement. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 44-2A, I rise to give the following statement on behalf of the House Business Committee, which met on Tuesday, 28th November 2023, to prioritize the business for consideration during the week. Honorable Speaker, with regard to business scheduled for Tuesday next week, the House is expected to consider the following bills at various stages, some of which are listed in today's order paper. 1, Committee of the Whole House on the Gambling Control Bill 2023 and the Kenya Drugs Authority Bill 2022. 2, second reading of the Statute Law Miscellaneous Amendment Bill 2023. B, the National Disaster Risk Management Bill 2023. C, the Vocational Bill, Senate Bill number 3 of 2022, and the Cotton Industry Development Bill, Senate Bill number 5 of 2023. Additionally, Honorable Speaker, debate will also be undertaken on the following motions should they not be concluded today. Sessional paper number 2 of 2023 on the national tax policy, which is actually ongoing and is on the paper now. Reports of the Auditor General on 23 non-compliant state corporations. Report on the proceedings of the second ordinary session of the 6th Pan-African Parliament, PAP. Report of the proceedings of the 2023 United Nations High-Level Political Forum on Sustainable Development, and lastly, the report on enhancing reporting of parliamentary business on online platforms. Honorable Speaker, in accordance with the provisions of Standing Order 42A, 5 and 6, I wish to convey that the Cabinet Secretary for Roads and Transport is scheduled to appear before the House on the afternoon of Wednesday, 6th December 2023, to respond to the following questions. And at this juncture, I will request the members that whose questions are coming on that day to be present in the House. Question by private notice number 1.
Honorable Owen, you may skip that. I directed that in the last 2 weeks, that this and next week of the session, we will dedicate time to clear pending businesses especially bills that are half debated, motions that are in progress. So no minister will come to answer questions next week.
Much obliged, Honorable
You can
Speaker.
skip
Honorable
that.
Speaker, therefore, I conclude.
Yes,
Honorable Speaker, being a religious person here, just like other honorable members, you further directed, and I would
the
want
Minister for Roads will
to
be
come
here
for a
to
specific,
answer only specific question that was raised here,
well guided.
not to answer questions as he was enumerating.
Thank you. Honorable Speaker, therefore, as I conclude, so that also the Christian man can listen and follow, as I conclude, allow me to reiterate my appreciation to members and committees for the active participation which has seen the conclusion of several key items. Honorable Speaker, I think this week has been a tremendous week. We have concluded several key legislations, and I think today we will finish one of the key legislations. And I want to thank the members very, very sincerely for a good job this week, although we have here and there struggled with quorum, but I think we have maintained the House. Honorable Speaker, I wish to remind members that the House is scheduled to proceed for recess next week. As such, members should note that the House may be required to sit longer or have additional sittings on some days, including having to sit on Thursday morning, to conclude with any urgent matters before proceeding on the long break. Honorable Speaker, in conclusion, the House Business Committee will reconvene on Tuesday, 5th December 2023 to conclude business for the rest of that week. Now, I now wish to lay this statement on the table of the House, and I thank you, Honorable Speaker. Thank you.
Owen Baya, and for avoidance of doubt, on Wednesday, Minister Murkomen will be here to answer a specific question on roads that was raised, to which I directed that he be here. The issue that Omboko Milemba is trying to remind us. Thank you, Majority Leader. Next order.
Order number 8, motion. The 4th General Assembly of the Eastern Africa Parliamentary Alliance on Food Security and Nutrition, held in Kigali, Rwanda. Question to be put.
Thank you, honorable members. Before I put the question to this order, I have been requested by the Honorable Emmanuel Wangwe, the Chair of Public Investments Committee on Social Services, Administration and Agriculture, that he has some emergency to attend to, and that we should stay order number 11 to next week. I've acceded to the request. So clerk, when you get to order number 11, you skip it and move to the next order. Honorable members, I now put the question at order number 8, which is that this House notes the report of the Kenya delegation to the 4th General Assembly of the East African Parliamentary Alliance on Food Security and Nutrition, held in Kigali, Rwanda, from 7th to 9th December 2022, laid on the table of the House on Tuesday, 11th April 2023. As members of that opinion say aye. Aye. Will those of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Next order.
Order number 9, Committee of the Whole House.
Order, honorable members, may you be upstanding. We'll now go into the Committee of the Whole.
Order, honorable members. This is the Committee of the Whole House, and we are considering the National Lottery Bill, National Assembly Bill number 69 of 2023.
clauses 3 and 4.
I propose that the question that clause 3 and 4 be part of the bill. I now put a question that clause 3 and 4 be part of the bill. Will as many as have that opinion say aye? Aye. As many as have contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 5.
I propose the question that clause 5 be part of the bill. Mover?
I beg to move that clause 5 of the bill be amended as it appears in the order paper. Honorable Chair, the amendment 6 to mandate the principal secretary in the ministry for the time being responsible for matters relating to internal security and national administration to sit in the board as the representative of the parent ministry in line with the provisions of Section 6(1)(c) of State Corporation Act, Cap 446. B, provide for the requirement of fair competition and merit as the basis of appointment in line with Article 10 and 232 of the Constitution. Then C, provide for gender neutral drafting in paragraph 1 and 1D. D, to remove repetition in paragraph 2B. E, to ensure inclusivity and equality among the persons appointed by the cabinet secretary. Then provide that the chief executive officer shall be a member of the board as an ex-officio member, so as to align the provision with the recommendations of the Mwongozo Code of Governance for State Corporations. G, to increase the period within which a member of the board should be required to not have actively engaged in the gambling sector, so as to eliminate the possibility of conflict of interest. And lastly, Chair, ensure that reappointment to the board shall be based on satisfactory performance.
Thank you. I proposed the question that clause 5 be amended as proposed by the chair. Leader of majority.
Chair, I want to propose a further amendment on E, in subclause 4, where it's saying by inserting the words based on satisfactory performance, immediately after the words one further term of 3 years. Because Honorable, this makes the law very subjective. Because how do you know what is satisfactory performance? And if you read the bill says that you be appointed for a term of 5 years. A member shall be a term of 3 years and shall be eligible for reappointment for one further term of 3 years. And I think in line with all other legislation we have done, it has been that way. So we remove the issues of satisfactory performance, because it is natural that you evaluated. Otherwise, you say satisfactory performance unless we go to the definitions and define what is that satisfactory performance. Otherwise, it becomes very subjective.
Thank you. I propose that the amendment be further amended as proposed by the majority leader. Chair.
Chair, with Robert, I agree. I concur.
You concur with the amendment?
With the amendment, yes.
I propose that the amendment, as further amended by the majority leader, be approved. I now put the question that the amendment as further amended by the majority leader be approved. As many as are of that opinion say aye. Aye. As many as have a contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. I now propose the question that clause 5 be amended as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as have that opinion say aye? Aye. As many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 6.
Clause 6 has no amendment. I propose the question that clause 6 be part of the bill. As many as have that opinion say aye. I now put the question that clause 6 as amended be part of the bill. As many as have that opinion say aye. Aye. As many as have a contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 7.
I propose that clause 7 be part of the bill. I now put mover for clause 7.
Chair, I beg to move that clause 7 of the bill be amended as it appears in the order paper, but I drop F and retain B. Justification is remove the repetition in subclause 3 since the provisions are contained in paragraph 2C.
Thank you. I propose the question that clause 7 be amended as proposed by the chair.
I've dropped A in subclass 2, the one deleting paragraph F. Yes.
I now put the question that clause 7 be amended as proposed by the chair. As many as have that opinion say aye. Aye. As many as have a contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 7 be amended as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as have that opinion say aye? Aye. As many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 8.
I propose that clause 8 be part of the bill. I now put the question that clause 8 be part of the bill. Will as many as have that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 9.
I propose the question that clause 9 be part of the bill. Mover?
I beg to move that clause 9 of the bill be amended as it appears in the order paper. The justification is the Amendment 6 to align with the provisions of the Mwongozo Code, which limits the number of committees to 4.
I propose the question that clause 9 be amended as proposed by the chair. I now put the question that clause 9 as amended be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many as have that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 9 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as have that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 10.
I propose the question that clause 10 be part of the bill. Mover.
I beg to move that clause 10 of the bill be amended as it appears in the order paper. Chair, the justification, the Amendment 6 to align the provision with the provisions of Article 234 of the Constitution, which provides that it is the function of the Salaries and the Remuneration Commission to advise the national government on the remuneration and the benefits of public officers.
I propose the question that clause 10 be amended as proposed by the chair. I now put the question that clause 10 be amended as proposed by I now put the question that clause 10 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many as have that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 10 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as have that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 11.
I propose the question that clause 11 be part of the bill. Mover.
I drop clause 11.
In that case, I now put the question, which is that clause 11 be part of the bill. Will as many as have that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 12.
I propose the question that clause 12 be part of the bill. Mover.
I beg to move that clause 12 of the bill be amended as it appears in the order paper. Justification, the amendment seeks to align the title with the Mwongozo Code to provide that the secretary to the board shall be the corporation secretary.
I propose the question, which is that clause 12 be amended as proposed by the chairman. Honorable Meli.
Chair, I do agree with the amendment by the mover in the sense that in most instances, corporation secretaries are the legal counsels to institutions, and they understand the workings of the institution, the legal framework underpinning how an institution is operating. Previously, it used to be the CEO. In some instances, he has no legal background on how institutions and organizations work. I support Madam Chair.
Thank you. I now put the question, which is clause 12 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many as have that opinion say aye? Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question, which is that clause 12 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as have that opinion say aye? Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 13.
I propose the question that clause 13 be part of the bill. Mover.
I beg to move that clause 13 of the bill be amended as it appears in the order paper. Justification, to align the provision with Article 234 of the Constitution, which provides that it is the function of the Salaries and Remuneration Commission to advise the national government on the remuneration and the benefits of the public officers.
I propose the question, which is that clause 13 be amended as proposed by the chair. I now put the question, which is that clause 13 be amended as proposed by the chairman. Will as many as have that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question, which is that clause 13 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as have that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 14.
I propose the question that clause 14 be part of the bill. I now put the question, which is that clause 14 be part of the bill. Will as many as have that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 15.
I propose the question, which is that clause 15 be part of the bill. Chairman.
I beg to move that clause 15 of the bill be amended as it appears in the order paper. Justification, the amendment seeks to align with the Mwongozo Code, which provides that the corporation secretary shall be the custodian of the common seal and account to the board for its use.
I propose the question, which is that clause 15 be amended as proposed by the chairman. There be no interest. I now put the question, which is clause 15 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many as have that opinion say aye? Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question, which is that clause 15 be amended as proposed. Clause 15 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clauses 16 and 17.
I propose the question that clause 15 and 16 be part of the bill. I take that again. I propose the question that clause 16 and 17 be part of the bill. There be no amendment. I now put the question, which is that clause 16 and 17 be part of the bill. Will as many as have that opinion say aye? Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 18.
I propose the question, which is that clause 18 be part of the bill. Mover.
I beg to move that clause 18 of the bill be amended as it appears in the order paper. Justification: the amendment seeks to provide for the comprehensive provision on annual estimates as by the House drafting style.
Thank you. I now propose the question, which is that clause 18 be amended as proposed by the chairman. I now put the question, which is that clause 18 be amended as proposed by the chairman. Will as many as have that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question, which is that clause 18 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as have that opinion say aye? Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 19.
I propose the question, which is that clause 19 be part of the bill. There be no amendment. I put the question, which is that clause 19 be part of the bill. Will as many as have that opinion say aye? Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 20.
I propose the question, which is that clause 20 be part of the bill. Mover.
I beg to move that clause 20 of the bill be amended as it appears in the order paper. The justification: A, ensure that reports of the board are also be submitted to the National Assembly to enable the National Assembly to exercise oversight of the board pursuant to Article 95(5)(b) of the Constitution, and B, specify the organ of the national government which is responsible for developing the framework on performance. According to the Executive Order number 2 of 2023 on the organization of the government of the Republic of Kenya, the function of the overseeing performance of government ministries, departments, and agencies is placed in the Ministry of Public Service Performance and Delivery Management.
I propose the question first. I propose the question, which is that clause 20 be amended as proposed by the chairman. Majority Leader?
Chair, first I want to do a further amendment on B by deleting the last words by the ministry responsible for performance and service delivery to read by the national government, so that the sentence will read on the basis of a clear outcome-based performance framework based on the policy developed by the national government. Again, Honorable Speaker, just to give flexibility to His Excellency the President, because if you say that this is under performance and service delivery, if tomorrow he moves that docket to another ministry, then we have tied him in law. We should leave it to the national government, then it will be upon the President, because even what the committee argues is that based on an executive order is just that, an executive order. Tomorrow he could issue another one and place it in the Ministry of Sports. Then we make it very difficult for government to be reorganized since you have prescribed it in law. Number two, I'm here to be convinced by the chair on A. Why we want, if you read 20, clause 20 is speaking about the board shall prepare quarterly and annual financial and non-financial reports in a format prescribed by the Public Sector Accounting Standards Board and submit the same to the National Treasury with copies to the Controller of Budget and the Commission on Revenue Allocation. First, I do not see the reason for taking these accounts to the Commission for Revenue Allocation, unless I am convinced otherwise. I also see no reason for the same to go to the Controller of Budget. I see no reason for the same to come to the National Assembly. Because if you go, I think, to the next clause, next bit of the, I think it was clause 18, we have already a very elaborate reporting mechanism, which I have seen in 18, that will deal with audited financial accounts. What shall the National Assembly do with annual reports, quarterly reports, financial reports? I am here to be convinced by the chair what the thinking of the committee was in National Assembly. Where will these reports go to? And what will they do with them? Because National Assembly oversights state corporations but is not involved in their day-to-day running. Day-to-day running should be left to the National Treasury, and probably the Auditor General could get a copy. But even this, I would actually propose, Honorable Chair, that the chair agrees that we drop the amendment on National Assembly, but instead we even remove Commission on Revenue Allocation and Controller of Budget. I don't see their role. Thank you.
I propose the question that the amendment be amended as proposed by the majority leader. Chairman?
Chair, I tend to disagree with the majority leader because, one, we are just doing our oversight role as it is in the constitution of this country. Two, it is also reasonable enough that this body is oversighted and made sure that the resources being channeled to this board is well articulated in terms of accounting and in terms of making sure that the right thing is being done by the board. It has got, there is no harm in these three bodies having the information on how, and in any case, there are only reports that we have got to look at and also make sure that whatever they are doing is right. So I don't know the import of the majority leader why these reports cannot be spread to these institutions that we have suggested.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I want to agree with the majority leader, more specifically on the issue of quarterly reports. Quarterly reports are working reports, which shall actually be summed up in the annual reports, which shall come to the House. So by bringing in quarterly reports, we are actually micromanaging the institution, and that is the work of the board, that is the work of the institution, Chair. So I want to disagree with the Chair on that, so that...
Here, the Honorable Meli, then we'll come to you, Chairman.
Yes, yes. So that all the quarterly reports, there are 4 quarters in a year, Madam Chair. Therefore, if these reports are brought every quarter, those are actually what we call the working reports of committees, and they shall be tabled before boards. Boards work on them and prepare now the summative annual report that shall be tabled before the House. Thank you.
Chairman?
Chair, I don't know where the Chair of Education and the majority leader have gotten this word quarterly report. Ensure that reports of the board are also submitted to the National Assembly to enable.
Would you like to be informed by the majority leader?
I just want to...
would you like to be informed by the majority
leader?
No,
I wouldn't like to be informed because... Yes.
Yes, majority leader.
Now, Chair, since he does not want to be informed, let me educate him. The bill, we are amending the bill, not your talking notes. The bill reads, the board shall prepare quarterly. That is where I'm getting quarterly. We are amending the bill. We are legislating the bill, Chairman. And you know, Honorable Speaker, maybe I should help the chair. This is why the Speaker keeps encouraging our chairs of committees to be present in the House throughout. So that when we are chairs, we know what goes on in the House. Because the chair cannot be amending a bill and he doesn't even have a copy of the bill, and I will donate a copy of the bill to him. So that, Honorable Speaker, and our argument is simple, because I have also consulted with the council in charge of the committee. There is no basis for the National Assembly to get quarterly reports. If anything, where will these quarterly reports go to? Our reports, financial reports, come to either our Public Investments Committee in the case of a board like this, or to the Public Accounts Committee. They look at only audited accounts. So if this report was to come to this House, what will this House do with it? Is a question. And I would really want to implore the chair to drop that amendment and instead move the further amendment to also delete the need for these reports to go to the Controller of Budget. Since this is a board, the Controller of Budget has no business with the board. They go to the National Treasury and a copy to the Auditor General. The Auditor General has basis to start looking at the operations of that organization ahead of the close of the financial year.
Yeah, that is in clause 20, Chair. You may make reference as we give one more person a chance. Honorable Tongoyo.
Yeah, Chair, actually this is just to echo what the Leader of Majority have said. You know, it's not the first board. And we have got always a standard practice on how the boards are run and operated. And of course, any board that, if there is a board, they report, the quarterly reports are being analyzed by the board. So I support that this is being dropped and have it amended, as suggested by the Leader of Majority, Madam Chair.
Honorable Owen Bayer. Well, you have an intervention unless you didn't want to make comments on this.
I just
it's
wanted
okay.
to support the amendment by the Majority Leader.
Okay, thank you.
Actually, what would we do with quarterly reports in this House? Which committee would handle them? So I think it's in good order that we only receive annual reports and audited accounts. Thank you.
Honorable Esuda. Thank you very much. I now put the question, which is that the amendment be amended as proposed by the Majority Leader. Will as many as have that opinion say aye? Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question, which is that clause 20 be amended as proposed. Will as many as have that opinion say aye? Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question, which is that clause 20 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as have that opinion say aye? Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 21.
I propose the question, which is that clause 21 be part of the bill. Mover.
Chair, I drop the whole of clause 21.
All amendments in clause 1 are dropped there. Therefore, I now put the question that clause 21 be part of the bill. Will as many as have that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 22.
I propose the question that clause 22 be part of the bill. There be no amendment. I now put the question, which is that clause 22 be part of the bill. Will as many as have that opinion say aye? Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 23.
I propose the question that clause 23 be part of the bill. Mover.
I beg to move that clause 23 of the bill be amended as it appears in the order paper. Chair, the justification, the amendment 6 to A eliminate the subjectivity in the provision which would be open to abuse. Then B, provide correct grammatical flow in subclause 4.
I don't see any interest in this. Therefore, I put the question, which is that clause 3 be amended as proposed by the chairman. I put the question, which is that clause 23 be amended as proposed by the chairman. Will as many as have that opinion say aye? Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question, which is that clause 23 be amended as part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clauses 24, 25, and 26.
I propose the question, which is that clause 24, 25, and 26 be part of the bill. There be no amendment. I put the question, which is that clause 24, 25, and 26 be part of the bill. Will as many as have that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 27.
I propose the question that clause 27 be part of the bill. Mover.
I beg to move that clause 27 of the bill be amended as it appears in the order paper. The justification, the amendment seeks to ensure that the mandate of the National Lottery Board shall be limited to the conduct of the National Lottery and not to gambling.
After I propose. I propose the question, which is that clause 27 be amended as proposed by the chairman. Majority Leader?
Honorable Chair, I want to move a further amendment so that instead of deleting the word gambling, we add to read, adopt strategic and inclusive frameworks for responsible gambling and the conduct of the National Lottery. Because, Honorable Speaker, this lottery is also gambling. So, if we remove the mandate of the Cabinet Secretary and the board from ensuring that there is responsible gambling, then we'll be doing injustice to all the issues that I had people speaking to, even when we were speaking on the bill on gambling and even on this bill, that there ought to be very responsible gambling. So I would propose that we drop the deletion and instead add in the conduct of the National Lottery. So to read, adopt strategic and inclusive framework for responsible gambling and in the conduct of the National Lottery.
I propose the question, which is that the amendment be amended as proposed by the Majority Leader. Chairman.
I concur.
I now put the question, which is that the amendment be amended as proposed by the Majority Leader. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question, which is that clause 27 be amended as proposed. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question, which is that clause 27 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 28.
I propose the question that clause 28 be part of the bill. Mover.
I beg to move that clause 28 of the bill be amended as it appears in the order paper. Justification. The amendment seeks to ensure consistency as the provision speaks on variations of the conditions of the license to operate the National Lottery, and B, ensure that where the operator fails to give reasons, the license shall be varied and not invalidated for that reason.
Thank you. I propose the question that clause 28 be amended as proposed by the chairman. The Honorable Meli.
Chair, I want to say that I want the mover to come out so that it is clear. When a license is issued, it is issued for a specific kind of business or a specific kind of activity in the gambling or lottery. But this issue of varying, he has to come out clearly because one license cannot serve for another activity. But kindly, I would request that he comes back again.
Chairman?
The variation, Chair, is on the same license. It is not speaking on any other license, Chair. So it stands on the same, the variation and the invalidation, and the activity is on the same activity. The same activity. Yes.
Same activity. The Honorable Catherine Omanyo. Did you intend to comment on this one?
Yes, Madam Chair. The license should be issued once a year, renewable.
I now put the question, which is that clause 28 be amended as proposed by chairman. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question, which is that clause 28 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as have that opinion say aye? Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clauses 29 and 30.
I propose the question that clause 29 and 30 be part of the bill. There be no amendment. I put the question that clause 29 and 30 be part of the bill. Will as many as have that opinion say aye? Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 31.
I propose the question, which is that clause 31 be part of the bill. Mover.
I beg to move that clause 31 of the bill be amended as it appears in the order paper. Justification: this clause provides for the revocation of a license to operate the National Lottery and not for the suspension of the license. The provisions on suspensions of a license are contained in clause 32.
Thank you. I propose the question that clause 31 be amended as proposed by chairman. There be no interest in this. I now put the question, which is that clause 31 as amended be amended as proposed by the chairman. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 31 be amended as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as have that opinion say aye? Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 32.
I propose the question that clause 32 be part of the bill. Mover.
I beg to move that clause 32 of the bill be amended as it appears in the order paper. Justification: the word mutatis mutandis is legalese, whose meaning may not be understood by a lay person. Therefore, there is need to draft the provision in symbol language.
I propose the question that clause 32 be amended as proposed by the chairperson. Majority Leader?
Chair, I object. You know, we are law, we are legislating, and law is legalese. So therefore, and the lawyers even in the committee should have explained to the members what is mutati. Chair, I was actually going to Google because any layman like myself can Google what mutatis mutandis means. And Honorable Speaker, it means with necessary modifications, used when comparing two or more cases or situations, making necessary alterations while not affecting the main point at issue. Therefore, it is important for that to be there because you are saying the provisions under the suspension, revocation in 31, the one stipulated all the way to number 6, will apply as they are with necessary modifications in 32. So if you remove these mutatis mutandis And it is not Mutandi. Mutandi is someone from Eastern. I heard Honorable Soro saying Mutinda. Mutatis, mutandis.
You are replacing mutatis mutandis with the necessary modifications,
Yes,
meaning the same.
yes. So why don't we just leave it to stay?
Chairman?
Chair, you can see even the majority leader himself is having problems with the same terminologies, with the mutandis and the mutandis. So you can imagine the Wanjiku in the village, and we are making this law to be understood very clearly so that somebody cannot enter into issues purporting to have not understood the terminologies that are used. So I beg to say that we have replaced the same, mutatis, mutandis, and substituting therefore with the necessary modifications. So I uphold my...
Honorable Meli?
Chair, I do support the mover, the chair of sports, that actually we need to make the law readable, acceptable, and understandable to the people. Not actually having archaic foreign terms that are not easily understood. So I think the chair is very current, and we really need to support that.
Honorable Majority Leader?
Chair, I have been convinced by the chair that this mutandi is not in place.
Thank you. Honorable
That with
Catherine
necessary
Omanyo?
modifications, we can
Wait.
work. So let me support the chair.
Thank you very much. Honorable Catherine Omanyo?
Thank you, Chair. This language that is under seal or incognito is not good even to the Wanjukus or Nafulas of today. So simplicity is better because it is fair to both the lawyer and the other person who needs to also be part of understanding.
Thank you. So I now put the question, which is that clause 32 be amended as proposed by the chairman. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? Nay. The ayes have it. I now put the question, which is that clause 32 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clauses 33 and 34.
I propose the question that clause 33 and 34 be part of the bill. There be no amendment. I put the question, which is that clause 33 and 34 be part of the bill. Will as many as have that opinion say aye? Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 35.
I propose the question that clause 35 be part of the bill. Mover.
I beg to move that clause 35 of the bill be amended as it appears in the order paper. Justification: the bill defines the word child in the interpretation clause. Therefore, there is need to maintain consistency in drafting.
Thank you. I propose the question that clause 35 be amended as proposed by the chairperson. There be no interest. I put the question, which is that clause 35 be amended as proposed by the chairman. Will as many as have that opinion say aye? Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question, which is that clause 35 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many... Clause 35 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as have that opinion say aye? Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clauses 36, 37, 38, and 39.
I propose the question, which is that clause 36, 37, 38, and 39 be part of the bill. There be no amendment. I now put the question, which is that clause 36, 37, 38, and 39 be part of the bill. Will as many as have that opinion say aye? Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 40.
I propose the question that clause 40 be part of the bill. Mover.
I beg to move that clause 40 of the bill be amended as it appears in the order paper. Justification: the amendment seeks to 1, eliminate conflict. The provision provides that the prize monies paid under the Act shall not be charged income tax. An exemption to income tax is best provided for under the Income Tax Act, Cap 470. The prize monies should be exempted through an amendment to the first schedule of the Act. B, ensure that the bill complies with the provisions of the Unclaimed Financial Assets Act, number 40 of 2011, in regards to the assets that are presumed to be abandoned. And lastly, obligate an operator to maintain a register of prizes surrendered to the Unclaimed Financial Assets Authority for purposes of accountability.
Thank you. I now propose the question that clause 40 be amended as proposed by the chairman. Majority Leader?
Chair, I support, and particularly on deletion of subclause 3, which was exempting the prize monies paid under this act from income tax. In fact, my view was that this would have been a very unconstitutional provision in the bill, and I therefore support.
Thank you. I now propose the question that clause 40 be amended as proposed by chairman. Will as many as have that opinion say aye? Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question, which is that clause 40 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as have that opinion say aye? Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 41.
I propose the question that clause 41 be part of the bill. Mover.
I beg to move that clause 41 of the bill be amended as it appears in the order paper. Justification: this is to provide clarity on the entity who is to be audited by a person appointed by the regulatory authority.
Thank you. I propose the question that clause 41 be amended as proposed by the chairperson. I do not see any interest in this, so I now put the question. I now put the question, which is that clause 41 as amended, clause 41 be amended as proposed by the chairman. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question, which is that clause 41 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as have that opinion say aye? Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 42.
I propose the question that clause 42 be part of the bill. Mover.
I beg to move that clause 42 of the bill be amended as it appears in the order paper. Justification: the word board has already been defined in the bill to mean the National Lottery Board. Therefore, reference to the word board means the National Lottery Board.
Thank you. I propose the question that clause 42 be amended as proposed by the chairman. There be no interest. I now put the question, which is that clause 42 be amended as proposed by the chairman. Will as many as have that opinion say aye? Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 42 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as have that opinion say aye? Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 43.
I propose the question that clause 43 be part of the bill. Mover.
I beg to move that clause 43 of the bill be amended as it appears in the order paper. The justification: the word board has already been defined in the bill to mean the National Lottery Board. Therefore, reference to the word board means the National Lottery Board.
Thank you. I propose the question that clause 43 be amended as proposed by the chairman. I do not see any interest in this, so I now put the question that clause 43 be amended as proposed by the chairman. Will as many as have that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 43 be as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as have that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 44.
I propose the question that clause 44 be part of the bill. Mover.
I beg to move that clause 44 of the bill be amended as it appears in the order paper. Justification, the amendment 6 to provide that the board shall be responsible for the administration and not oversight of the fund to avoid conflict of interest. B, restrict the potential recipients of the fund to statutory bodies. C, ensure that the administrative and operational costs for the regulatory authority and the board is capped at the 3% and not 5% according to clause 42(2). And D, ensuring that the proceeds of the national lottery shall be channeled towards the good cause of the state actors.
Thank you. I propose the question that clause 44 be amended as proposed by the chairman. Since I do not, the majority leader?
I just want the chair to take us slowly because he has spoken. I got the one on the first bit. So if you can just take us clause by clause, because you know he's just reading his justification in a very jaggled up manner. Just for the first one is clear, but M, inserting what is the justification for M, what is the justification for the last one?
Chairman, please explain further the justifications.
M, ensure that ceiling of the amount of money that may be spent from the fund on administrative expenses does not exceed 5% of the total funds in fiasco year. What the justification on that one is that ensure that, yes, that is, we are reducing it from 5 to 3%. I think that's clear. The last one is ensure that the proceeds of the national lottery shall be channeled towards good causes of state actors. C. Yes. C. Determining accordance with the relevant regulations. Yes. Very well. Do you hear it? Yeah.
If you can give us a minute. You see, it says the act in the bush.
Chairman, would you like to explain further as we wait for further consultation?
What we intend to cure, Chair, is that we will want to make sure that these funds are not abused in any way. And therefore, the good causes will be identified by the state.
You are proposing to delete, including allocations to state and non-state actors. That is what you want to delete?
Yes. Just a minute.
Majority Leader?
Chair, I want to persuade the chair to drop the last bit that says the board shall, while proposing and determining allocation, setting the criteria, or rather deleting the last subclause, which was saying that the board, while proposing and determining the allocation, that's in the bill, setting the criteria and conditions for accessing the fund, ensure equitable distribution across the country, including allocations to state and non-state actors. The import of the amendment he's doing was pegged on another amendment on clause 21 that we have since dropped. So this cannot then sit properly here, because now the fund, as 21 appears in the bill, they are non-state actors.
Chairman, are you convinced?
I concur.
You concur?
Yeah.
Can you put that on record that you have dropped?
Yes, I'm dropping the amendments to the new proposed 3.
I now put the question that clause 44 be amended as proposed by the chairman. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question, which is that clause 44, as amended, be part of the bill. Will as many as have that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 45.
I propose the question that clause 45 be part of the bill. Mover.
I beg to move that clause 45 of the bill be amended as it appears in the order paper. The amendment seeks to ensure that the allocations are restricted to state actors, and B, ensure that the fund shall be restricted to raising additional revenue for the national government.
I propose the question that clause 45 be amended as proposed by the chairman. Honorable Catherine Omanyo. Honorable Kombe. Member for Magarini. You have indicated you want to say something about clause 45. What is your comment?
Thank you, Chair. I support the chairman.
The Honorable Dorothy Kiara. She stepped out. The Honorable Meli.
You are removing names.
Chair, we need to actually give these monies to all deserving, noting that this is actually, these monies are to benefit for the welfare of the state, both non-state and state actors. More specifically, those maybe those who have been hit by floods. So we therefore drop A. I support that dropping.
Majority Leader.
Honorable Chair, I'm laughing because the Chair Education has now taken over the work of the Chair of Sports. he's dropping his amendment without the owner dropping it. He should be persuading the Chair Sports to drop A. And I think the Chair Sports is convinced that we should drop Part A, the one deleting non-state actors. And the reason is simple. There are many non-state actors, including the people of Magarini, who may want to benefit for money from flooding. And they are non-state actors. We should allow them to be able to access this money from the National Lottery.
Chairman, what is your comment? Are you convinced?
I concur, Chair.
You concur? So I now put the question, which is that clause 45 be amended as proposed by the chairman. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question, which is that clause 45, as amended, be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 46.
I propose the question that clause 46 be part of the bill. There be no amendment. I now put the question, which is that clause 45 be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 47.
I propose the question that clause 47 be part of the bill. Mover.
I beg to move that clause 47 of the bill be amended as it appears in the order paper. Justification: the amendment seeks to provide proper grammatical flow and to ensure that the accessibility funds of the fund is restricted to state actors. That one we delete, we drop it, we drop that amendment. Because it is also related.
You have also dropped that amendment?
We dropped that amendment because it's also related.
So that means then there is no amendment?
Yes.
So I propose the question that, I now put the question that clause 47 be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clauses 48, 49, 50, and 51.
I propose the question that clause 48, 49, 50, and 51 be part of the bill. There be no amendment. I now put the question that clause 48, 49, 50, and 51 be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? Nay. The ayes have it.
New clause 5A.
We have a new clause. Chair.
Mover.
Thank you, Chair. I beg to move that new clause, as it appears in the order paper, be part of the bill. Justification: the amendment seeks to introduce provisions relating to vacancy and the removal of the members of the board, which is currently not provided for in the bill.
I propose the question that clause 5A be now read a second time. I now put the question, which is that the new clause 5A be now read a second time. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now propose the question, which is that new clause 5A be part of the bill. There be no interest. I put the question that clause 5A be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Schedule.
I propose the question that the schedule be the schedule of the bill. I now put the question, which is that the schedule be the schedule of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 2.
I propose the question that clause 2 be part of the bill. Mover. Chairman. Clause 2.
Clause 2. Underneath. It is not. I propose the amendment as it is on the order paper.
I propose the question that clause 2 be amended as proposed by the chairman. There be no interest. I now put the question that clause 2 be amended as proposed by the chairman. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Majority Leader?
Clause 2, you know, Chair, we pushed the chair to move as he was still perusing his papers. So he had not gotten to the justification, and it's only fair before we make a decision. We get to hear the justification.
Chairman, this is the one concerning the Cabinet
justification.
Secretary, whether it is the
Clause
one.
2.
You have seen it?
Yes, I've seen it.
Okay. Yes.
I beg to move that clause 2 of the bill be amended as it appears in
You had already moved.
justification.
It is just a justification, Chairman.
The amendment seeks to ensure that the Cabinet Secretary responsible for national administration shall provide the ministerial oversight of the National Lottery as well as to offer policy guidance. Further, the Cabinet Secretary for National Administration will be best placed to put in place enforcement measures in the conduct of national lotteries as well as effective management of the risks associated with the industry such as tax evasion, money laundering, and financing of terrorism.
Thank you. I now put the question, which is that Leader of Majority?
Chair, now I've heard the justification. And if you go to 2, it says the Cabinet Secretary means the Cabinet Secretary for the time being responsible for matters relating to national lottery. And the chair tells us that the Cabinet Secretary in charge of national administration would be best placed to put enforcement measures in conduct of national lotteries. And I agree with the second bit on effective management of the risks associated with the industry, such as tax evasion, money laundering, and financing of terrorism. But I'm wondering, would that be too restrictive to the head of state in terms of his general organization of government when you say that the minister responsible of a certain function is this minister in law? Because ideally, the Cabinet Secretary responsible for that docket is up to His Excellency the President then to designate what docket goes where. And I would therefore beg the chair to reconsider that particular amendment. And since we have representation in the board of the National Lottery Board, we included the Principal Secretary in charge of Interior. I think that should suffice, so that when it comes to the general organization of government, we do not restrict the president by law. Because what we are doing now is using legislation to organize government. Yet we do not run government and we do not organize government on behalf of the president. I would really ask the chair to drop that amendment.
Chairman, you have heard the Majority Leader. What is your comment?
Chair, I have heard the Majority Leader, but the import of this amendment is we are looking at the menace of gambling in this country. And the only ministry that can be able to make sure that this is sorted out is the Minister for Internal Security and National Administration. And that is why we had to make sure that we put it under this ministry because the ministry has the personnel to be able to actually combat this menace that we are talking about. So that is the justification. However, the Leader of Majority also has a point. And for that matter, I'll therefore buy his idea because I know maybe the president will even also use his wisdom to see that the ministry that has the capacity to handle this menace is allocated this portfolio. Thank you. I therefore
So you are
drop
convinced
this amendment.
by the comments of the Majority Leader?
I concur.
Are you
I
saying
concur.
you agree with the Majority Leader?
I agree. And
All
I
right.
concur.
Member for Bomet?
Thank you very much, Chair. In fact, I wanted also to maybe to support my chair, but the chair has already supported the majority leader. I wish my chair could have been listening. You know, I fall under this committee, and I wanted to say something.
Did you want to say something particularly on clause 2?
Yes, in this clause. In fact, I wanted to say that all the ministries fall under, the president is in charge of all the ministries, and mentioning that it is under this ministry means that even the president can do anything to whichever ministry.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Chairman, I would like to ask you to go on record on the dropping of the amendment on clause 2. Question. Now that there is no amendment, I put the question that clause 2 be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Long title.
I propose the question that the title be the title of the bill. I now put the question. There is an amendment on the title. Chairman.
The amendments, I beg to move that the long title be amended as it appears on the order paper.
I propose the question that the long title be amended as proposed by the chairman. I now put the question that the long title be amended as proposed by the chairman. Will as many as have that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 1.
I propose the question that clause 1 be part of the bill. No amendment, so I put the question that clause 1 be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. We now go to reporting. Mover. Mover.
Honorable Chairperson, I beg to move that the committee do report to the House its consideration of the National Lottery Bill, National Assembly Bill number 69 of 2023, and its approval thereof with amendments.
I now put the question, which is that the committee do agree. I now put the question, which is that the committee do report to the House its consideration of the National Lottery Bill, National Assembly Bill number 69 of 2023, and its approval thereof with amendments. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Thank you for your interest and patience on this particular undertaking, Committee of the Whole. We will now move to reporting, and I would therefore invite the chairperson.
Thank you. Honorable Speaker, I beg to report that the Committee of the Whole House has considered the National Lottery Bill, National Assembly Bill number 69 of 2023, and approved the same with amendments.
Mover.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that the House do agree with the committee in the said report. I also request Honorable Githua Wamashukuru, Member of Parliament for Kabete, and the Vice Chair of the Sports Committee, to second the motion for agreement with the report of the Committee of the Whole House.
I second.
Thank you. Thank you. Members, I now propose the question, which is that the House do agree with the committee in the said report.
Chair, allow me to take this opportunity to thank the members of the Sports Committee and all these members who have sat.
Give Angela the mic.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I was saying I thank members who have sat through this Committee of the Whole, because, Honorable Speaker, you know, this is where actual legislation is done. And I must commend all these members. Yes. And I do hope we shall have all the other members on Tuesday afternoon for them to testify and see what these few members who are here have been able to do this afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you, Majority Leader. And with what you said, we will wait for the members to come on Wednesday afternoon and do the needful. Next order.
Honorable Speaker, maybe I would seek your indulgence, understanding on the number 53, that I do request we defer putting of the question to the next sitting.
Yeah, we're putting of the question on the report of the House on the National Lottery Bill, Bill number 9 of 03, is deferred to Tuesday afternoon next week. Next order.
Order number 10, motion, sessional paper number 2 of 2023 on the national tax policy. Resumption of debate.
Members, debate on this started this afternoon. It's going on. The mover already moved. And so now you will not have the first bite on this, Majority Leader, today. Take some water, and let's have the Honorable David Mboni, if he's in the House, contributing on this.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to say one or two things on national tax policy. Mr. Speaker, the national tax policy in the country, I think this is the first one, and is overdue. And I remember last Parliament, we were pushing Treasury to bring it to the House so that it can be adopted. Mr. Speaker, looking at the proposed tax policy, it has two aims. One, to create predictability in the laws, in the tax laws. Mr. Speaker, having been in Finance and National Planning Committee, where we handle the tax issues, tax in this country are not be predictable. We had the cases whereby this time we are zero rating. This year we are zero rating some goods. The same goods next year we go to exempt. This creates a lot of uncertainty in terms of doing businesses. And to have predictability of the tax is very important. And the policy should propose that before we change any tax, the impact of tax should be analyzed so that the next one, we know the impact in terms of economic growth, because some of the taxes are very harmful to the economy. Mr. Speaker, the tax policy also proposes to expand the tax base. Mr. Speaker, I would say that manufacturing, finance and insurance, and ICT, the three sectors which contribute 17% of GDP, they actually contribute 53% of tax revenue in this country. So if you look at that, 70% of the GDP contribute 53% of the tax revenue. That means that these taxes, these three sectors are overtaxed. And therefore, it's important to expand the tax base. I would say that in 2013, our tax revenue to GDP was at 22%. Currently, is at 15%. Meaning what? Meaning, and globally accepted level is around 25% plus. So meaning that there are many other sectors, because the economy has been expanding, but our tax revenue to GDP are going down. That means that we are not doing well in terms of tax collection. When you look at the policy being in the committee, there are gaps. There are very many gaps in the policy. And I was actually wondering, was Treasury really ready to bring this policy? And I think it's something which they picked somewhere, and they decided to bring to National Assembly. So there are few proposals which are very important. One, the policy, and I think this Treasury should be able to go through the policy and improve it so that it can be a good policy. So there's a need to provide for policy concerns, policy objectives, policy actions, and policy outcomes which are lacking in the tax policy. There's also a proposal to expand the tax base to include digital economy. I mean, this is a sector which has been expanding. There are so many players in it, and there's a lot of money we can make it from there. There's also a proposal to expand in informal sector, to tax informal sector, and also agricultural sector. You know, agriculture contributes around 24% of GDP. Yet it contributes less than 5% of tax revenue in this country. The policies also provide for an efficient funding that ensures settlement of tax refunds. You know, there are so many countries, there are so many companies and businesses which are owned a lot of refunds by KRA. And therefore, they keep on going to KRA to look for their refunds, and those ones are affecting their operation, they are affecting their businesses. So the provision for funding for the refunds should be provided in the budget so that at least these people can be able to get their refund back. There are what we call incentives and exemptions. And these ones should only target manufacturing and investment, and should be sustained for not less than 5 years so that they can spur economic growth. So, you know, the other one is excise duty. Excise duty. Excise duty, currently we are actually imposing excess duty on each and everything. But you see, excise duty is supposed to be for luxury goods. So we are suggesting that the excise duty should go to luxury goods, communication services, and not essential goods like food, medicine, and extra. The policy should also eliminate double taxation. You remember when we tax our goods and we expand them to our neighboring countries, they become very expensive because there they have to be expanded. And lastly, here I want to say this. You know, it's not bad to tax, but there's an extent at which you can tax. Some goods, like cigarettes, beer, we have actually overdone it. And if you go to the borders, Kenya borders with our neighbors, you go to Busia, you go to Namanga, most of the goods consumed in those areas, cigarettes and beer, they are coming from from neighboring countries because they are cheaper there than here. So we also need to look at why should we keep on taxing some of these sectors. Some sectors are highly taxed, gambling and gaming. At times I even start wondering, why should we, as a country, say we don't require some of these sectors, and we do away with them. Mr. Speaker, high taxes in reducing disposable income. When we impose high tax, we do reduce disposable income, which in return reduces demand and production and tax revenue, and therefore the GDP. So we also need to look at this. Mr. Speaker, on the business side, I was looking at the figures of foreign direct investments in the country, and I was comparing 2002 and 2001. Uganda, 2002, they got the direct investment, they got 1.2. Currently, last year, they got 2.5. Tanzania, they were at 2.2. Last year, they got 1.3. Kenya, the brute, it was 300. It's 2.5 billion US dollars, as opposed to 2001, when they got, Uganda, they got 1.2. Tanzania, at the same period, 2.5 billion US dollars. Tanzania, they got 1.2 billion US dollars. Last year, they got 1.3 billion US dollars. Kenya, 2001, we got 300. Last year, we got 751 million. Now, what this one tells us is that foreign direct investments, investors are preferring our neighbors than Kenya. And one of the contributing factor is taxation. And I will tell you that most of the companies who are going to Tanzania, those who are going to Uganda, by the way, they are Kenyan companies which are setting operations in Tanzania and Uganda and producing for Kenya under common external tariff. So basically we are losing. So we need to adapt this policy and make sure the proposal which has been proposed by the committee are implemented so that we can have a conducive environment, not only for businesses, but also for the Kenyans, so that they can have disposable income and consume and spur economic growth. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for giving that opportunity. I support.
Okay. The Honorable Milemba, you want to speak on this?
Honorable Speaker, thank you very much for this chance. It is true that since independence, we have never had a tax policy, and this is the first one being prompted, and therefore I want to thank the chair and the committee for having moved us a step forward to have a tax policy which can generally manage our legislations on taxes and also regulate matters tax. Honorable Speaker, I also had a chance of listening to the chair when he was moving this motion, and I thought that many of the things he spoke about were actually good, and to some extent they would relieve even the Kenyans who are currently talking about just two things. Either they are talking about the foreign debt or they are talking about the taxes, among other things, but those ones come very, very much ahead. Honorable Speaker, this policy first will give Parliament a chance to actually be the only body that is actually regulating the taxes that are imposed to our citizens, because it will curb the idea of the taxes that are imposed by the East African Custom Tax, which sometimes are implemented without approval of Parliament and therefore leads to double taxation by the Kenyans. And this would be very, very good so that the Parliament takes total responsibility of the management of taxes. So that one I thought was very good, and it will go a long way to have tax control in one center. Also, Honorable Speaker, this policy would lead to a situation whereby we can predict the tax regime, and this will actually go a long way then to attract the foreign investors. The speaker just preceding me talked about how investors are moving from Kenya and are going to Tanzania and the neighboring countries. And it is actually very important that we have a tax policy with a time frame that also indicates if we have a particular tax, for instance, levied this particular time, how long will it take before it is possibly changed? From where we have been operating, it has been a knee-jerk where you can change this anytime. And investors who come in because they are attracted because of a particular tax law that possibly has been put in place, later on invest a lot of money in that particular sector, whether it's an industry, later on will just realize that the same has been changed in 6 months, in 1 year, and possibly they are taking a lot of money to invest in that particular industry. And that is why then these investors will run away to Tanzania, Uganda, possibly where there is a serious tax policy, and therefore you can predict what is going to happen in the sector. So I find that very, very good. And this is something we have to look at very seriously, if I may take 2 more seconds there, because we really need to attract foreign investors. And we are in a very competing market with our neighbors. Originally, we used to boast of being the most attractive people in terms of attracting the foreign investors. But possibly it was because we had infrastructure, we had labor, but now the issue of taxes is making us lose and compete weakly against our other competitors who are also our neighbors. Honorable Speaker, I also want to indicate that the digital sector, which has really expanded, and be that as it may, it is the sector which now will actually take more of the businesses because everything is getting digitized. Unless we tap that sector, it will be very difficult to actually reach out to those who are doing business. And this tax policy actually indicates that it wants to widen the net to reach the businesses being done online and digitization, and which again is being promoted by the Kenya Kwanza government, given that we are going to do hubs all over and the young people will be doing business. And it's very important that we mop out that. So it is also very fine that we expand our tax base by going in all sectors, and especially the digital platforms, which are now the modern sector of business that we are having. Honorable Speaker, there was an issue on the excise tax. Indeed, the excise tax is supposed actually to be punitive in a way to those products that actually are discouraged, like alcohol, like gambling, which we have just been dealing with in a few minutes. But the excise tax in Kenya has also been applied to many other goods which otherwise should not be put in this particular bracket. I hope this policy, and I think I overheard the chair did mention something on this, that in this policy, they are going to be limited to these goods of luxury. In economics, we used to call them given goods.
Give you 1 more minute.
Oh, I thought it's 10 minutes. We used to call them the given goods, which actually are luxury and they need to be discouraged. So I think the policy generally is good, and it should go a long way, as I conclude, Chair, to make sure that there's relief generally, where we can have relief to the Kenyans in this sector, so that the Kenyans can also feel reprieved, we can attract foreign investment, and we can also support the government to have enough tax to money. Thank you, Honorable Speaker, I support.
The majority leader and member for Kikuyu, we keep losing Kikuyu as a constituency.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Yes, you know, I'm very proud to represent the good people of Kikuyu, even as we serve the rest of the country. Honorable Speaker, I rise to support this motion on the national tax policy. Just, Honorable Speaker, to say that this national tax policy is one of the measures that the Kenya Kwanza government has taken to ensure that, one, there is uniformity and certainty in our tax policies. And Honorable Speaker, basically to ensure that we enhance transparency in tax policies and form a basis for tax reforms and a review of the existing tax legislation now and in the future, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, Kenya joins a few nations in Africa like South Africa and Nigeria that also have a national tax policy. And Honorable Speaker, you know, when we lack a national tax policy or tax policy like this, then our tax regime becomes rather unpredictable. And the unpredictability of any tax regime in a country leads to loss of foreign direct investments in terms of foreign direct investors who may want to invest your country in our country or in any country, not being certain or not being able to predict the kind of returns they would make in a country where the tax regime is unpredictable. Therefore, Honorable Speaker, we also, in a way, are seeking to create attractiveness and also to be able to retain our foreign direct investments when we have a very predictable and certain tax policy that even investors out there, anybody in the world, can be able to predict if you come and invest in this country, what taxes are you bound to pay. Honorable Speaker, we are happy that this is coming at a time when we have just concluded the National Dialogue Committee's work. And you are aware, Honorable Speaker, that the conversation around the Finance Bill 2023, and I see the Chair of Finance is in the House, and I must commend the Chair of Finance for the robust public participation that he conducted during the legislation of the Finance Bill 2023, because it is out of this very robust public participation that the majority of Kenyans now realize that there is something called a finance bill. Before this year, Kenyans never knew what a finance bill is. But after the public participation that was conducted by the Committee on Finance, Kenyans now know that there is a finance bill, and they know this animal called a finance bill, what it does. It is the one that designates what taxes they are to pay. And no wonder, Honorable Speaker, even in the courts, in the judgment that came the day before yesterday, the court noted that indeed the National Assembly did conduct adequate and meaningful public participation in enacting that legislation. I'm saying that, Honorable Speaker, because we have had a lot of engagement throughout the year and up to now, even in the courts, leading to the courts, Honorable Speaker, on the Finance Bill 2023 and the Finance Act of 2023. And a lot was said about our tax regime. Beyond the Finance Act, Honorable Speaker, this conversation, we have even carried it on into the National Dialogue discussion on the issue around the cost of living. And there are those who pretended or who were of the view, especially those of us in the minority and those who are not on the government side, that it is out of the tax regime that the cost of living in this country has gone up. And we have a different view, Honorable Speaker. And indeed, you will see from the report that we just submitted to the principals of the two coalitions and which will be tabling before the House, one of the things that we pretended, those of us who are on the Kenya Kwanza side, is that the high cost of living is not principally out of our tax regime. That the high cost of living is a conglomeration of many factors, be it the war in Ukraine and Russia, the war in the Middle East, be it the global challenges with the recession post-COVID and the slow recovery of the economy, global economy post-COVID, or the monetary policy tightening in the US. All these factors have contributed in a big way in escalating the cost of living in our country and indeed in the world, because Kenya is not unique. And Honorable Speaker, many others, or a few others in the opposition were telling us, oh, it is out of taxation. And Honorable Speaker, up to now, I've heard people saying that the frequent increases in taxation. And I was just asking the Chair of Finance, has he introduced a finance bill, another one other than the one he did in July, that people keep talking about increases in taxation every now and then as if this House is legislating on tax every day, which is not the case, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, this national tax policy, as I said, will inform a review and a reform of the entire tax regime. And I am glad when the Cabinet Secretary of the National Treasury appeared before the National Dialogue Committee, he asserted that fact, and in fact, in our report, we have agreed with the Cabinet Secretary of the National Treasury that we shall give him up to the end of February next year to be able to table before Parliament a reviewed and a reformed national tax regime, targeting all our tax instruments, not just dwelling on VAT on fuel or dwelling on the housing levy, which surprisingly, Honorable Speaker, and I have tremendous respect for judges in the judiciary, I heard them saying that the tax on housing is unconstitutional on the basis that is being levied on people who are salaried. And I wondered, Honorable Speaker, we also pay as you earn. That is only paid principally by people who are salaried. So I don't know, and I have tremendous respect for our judges, but I really have wanted if our lawyer like yourself to appear before that judge and ask them, if pay as you earn is taxed on the basis of those who are salaried, and the housing tax is also being taxed to those who are salaried, then they should tell us even pay as you earn is unconstitutional. If that is the argument, Honorable Speaker.
Because the Honorable Majority Leader, I think National Assembly was a party to this suit, advised them to appeal.
We will advise them on appeal. I am certain the able lawyers led by our senior Sir George, the member for Tharaka, will be articulating these issues. In fact, I called Honorable Murugara and some for legal counsel to ask them, why don't you ask for me in court if pay as you earn is not unconstitutional? How then is housing being unconstitutional on the basis that it is being levied on salaried people? How will you then levy it on people who are not earning a salary if you don't levy pay as you earn on those who are earning a salary? And Honorable Speaker, I'm saying this because the Cabinet Secretary of National Treasury did indicate that they intend to review the entire tax regime, all the tax instruments, whether it's VAT, whether it's excise duty, whether it's income tax, and all other levies that fall under our tax regime, Honorable Speaker. And I'll beg you, add me 2 minutes to just finish that point. That
I've actually given you 10.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
You've exhausted the 10. You've exhausted the 10 already. So you have 1 minute to analyze.
Okay, I was saying, Honorable Speaker, you know, I've also been listening to you. I pause to listen to you when you interrupt me. That's why I'm begging your indulgence for another 2 minutes.
Okay,
I was saying,
ahead.
should we, if we were to review all these tax instruments, Honorable Speaker, then we'll be able to find the optimal level of taxes on each of the instruments with a view, one, to broadening our tax base, two, to increase our national revenues that we are raising from taxation, and three, to lessen the tax burden on Kenyans. Because that basically is a problem that Kenyans are complaining about, that those who are salaried may feel they are overburdened by taxation because there are those in the informal sector probably who are not paying tax. And there are tax instruments that we could use and utilize to make sure that we collect more taxes even from those in the informal sector, and especially those who are not in the very formal sector where they are known what they are doing, Honorable Speaker. Two, Honorable Speaker, is on the question of whether or not we are overtaxing Kenyans. And at the Liberty, Honorable Speaker, recently when I visited France, because I was in a meeting where the president of the IMF was asking European countries to increase their tax to GDP ratios. And in that meeting, I was seated next to someone from Austria, and I asked them, what is the tax to GDP ratio in your country? And they told me 43.6%. I Googled, in the same meeting, France was in the region of 48%, close to 50%. The US, Honorable Speaker, is at 16% on federal tax. If you go to the states, a state like California that is the size of Kenya, although the economy is much bigger than Kenya's, is at 13.5. That tells you they're about 29.5. Our tax to GDP ratio today is only at about 13.5 or 14%. Therefore, if you say Kenyans are being overtaxed, and yet we are the same people who are going to the US, to France,
to borrow money from them. And that money is not manna from heaven, Honorable Speaker. It is money that those countries have raised from their taxpayers. So we want other people to be taxed for us to get that money, but we do not want to pay taxes. Honorable Speaker, I want to support this national tax policy and say it will now inform us based on empirical data also from the review that the National Treasury is doing, and I must thank the Danish Danida for supporting the National Treasury in doing that comprehensive tax review that will ensure that we get a tax regime that is fair, that is equitable, that is transparent, one that is predictable, that will help us to not only attract but also retain foreign direct investments, Honorable Speaker, but more importantly, Honorable Speaker, to ensure that we raise adequate revenues to be able to finance our budget. We are able to broaden our tax base so that every Kenyan bears an equal burden in payment of taxes. I hope, Honorable Speaker, as I indicated to the Cabinet Secretary of National Treasury, that we shall have a review, especially of the tax expenditure on VAT. He indicated to us during the National Dialogue Committee that about 18% of the tax expenditure goes to tax refunds on VAT, and 95% of those tax expenditure, those tax refunds, go to only two products, being milk and bread. And Honorable Speaker, you need to ask yourself, who are the beneficiaries?
Seconds.
Honorable Speaker, in 30 seconds, I'm asking, Kenyans must begin to ask themselves, how did we arrive at that situation where we are spending 95% of our tax refunds to two companies dealing with bread and milk? You must ask yourselves, who are these who are getting tax refunds on milk? Honorable Speaker, when I spoke about instituting a state capture commission, I meant business, because this House must act and ensure there is a state capture commission so that we get to know how did we influence tax policies to ensure that milk processors are getting 95% of our VAT refunds at the expense of Kenyans, who you then go and incite and tell them they are being overtaxed, and you're not telling them it is you stealing and taking their taxes through state capture by influencing government policy. Honorable Speaker, this House, as we debate this tax policy, must ensure that there comes to an end the era of state capture, and we shall not have tax policies that will be geared towards ensuring that people are getting tax refunds for the benefit of private businesses at the expense of the majority of Kenyans, who then you turn around and incite. I hope, Honorable Speaker, because I can only see the member for GEM and the member for Busia, I hope those who shout over the weekends in funerals, how I wish they were here this afternoon to discuss the tax policy, because this is where you discuss tax matters, not in funerals.
Thank you.
Not in burial, where you are disrupting people in funerals and in churches. Come debate the tax policy on the floor of the House. You can see on the other side, there are only three members, the member for GEM, the member for Busia, and...
Nothing. Well said, Don Raymond. Don Raymond, I need to inform you, Majority Leader, I need to inform you that all of us are waiting. The country is waiting for the day you will announce the members of that State Chapter Commission. Because you keep thinking about it, everyone is asking, when is it being appointed? The member for Karachuonyo, the Honorable Andrew Adipo Okwome.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me the opportunity. And maybe I'll start by urging the majority leader to note that the concern of Kenyans on the taxation as it is today is justified. And we should just find a way, using the tax policy we have just, that has just been brought to us, at least to answer people's concern. People are concerned very much with our tax affairs. Mr. Speaker, I want to say that we need a tax policy that would encourage businessmen to do their work. Because if they succeed, they will have enough revenue the businessmen will have enough revenue upon which we can tax them. That way, the tax will be spread thin on individuals. Mr. Speaker, I've just mentioned the businessmen. Let me say the same on manufacturers. If we have a tax policy that's not scaring to their business, we are going to collect more taxes from them. I particularly picked up these two bodies because the tax as we have it today has made them migrate from this country. They are going to other countries. They are creating unemployment. They are creating shortage in our foreign exchange. And therefore, we must have a policy that encourages them to earn more for us to tax them more. When I say this, I'm talking of friendly taxation. The taxation that allows them to make good profit and at the same time remain with enough for other things upon which we can also tax them. Mr. Speaker, the tax policy we use can either destroy or create employment. As it is today, the tax we have is very unfriendly to creation of employment. This must end, and I'm glad we are formulating or starting to formulate a policy on taxation. Let us direct this policy towards creation of employment. We want to create incentives both to individuals, companies, and manufacturers to pay tax. If the tax is not too much of a burden for them, if it's not too much a burden for them, you will find them paying tax voluntarily. They will not need anybody or income tax to have a whip at their back in order that they pay. They will volunteer to pay. We will teach them that it's their responsibility to pay tax because tax is what makes the government run. But the question is how much tax is it that we are talking about? If it is a killing tax which allows nobody to remain with income for food, then of course people will evade. They will try means of not paying that tax. You will find you are forcing people to pay what you cannot get. In English, they say you will have been killing the goose that lay the eggs. Mr. Speaker, this policy is extremely important, and since everybody is crying that our taxation is a little too much, I wish everybody came to contribute to this particular motion so that we can be able to start again and manage to use taxation to create employment, to create investments, to enable manufacturers to come to Kenya, to enable everybody to pay the tax without crying. People are currently crying. That's why I'm talking of creating a tax that is friendly. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me the opportunity.
The Honorable Member for Tinderet, Julius Meli.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to support this tax policy statement, policy, the session of paper number 2 of 2023. Mr. Speaker, I want to laud the good work done by the Chair, Finance and Planning of the National Assembly, because over the years, we have had no national tax policy. We have had a lot of tax, what we call legislative acts on taxes. But a national tax policy that shall guide the country into the future, and more specifically, to guide the taxation system in this country has never been there. And I want to really thank the Finance and Planning Committee for the good work done. Mr. Speaker, the sessional paper is actually a blueprint. It is the document that is going to guide this country to avoid the unpredictability of the taxation system, which, if not well anchored in a policy and in a very good direction, it actually also ends up making investors to run away from the country. In fact, what the paper has done is to actually give a very detailed overview on what the National Treasury should actually have in place before they engage in any form of taxation system. The motivation aspect of it, to make sure that the taxpayers do not look at the tax they pay as punitive, but as a form of enhancing and promoting the environment under which they can do business. Businesses thrive in a proper regulated tax environment. And in this, I've actually looked at the sessional paper to show that there are various ways in which the National Treasury is guided to ensure that any other tax, any other form of taxation that is coming into play has to first of all favor the business environment. That is going to promote, to ensure that there is the creation of wealth, there is distribution of wealth, there is fairness and there is equity across the Republic and in all levels of producers. Honorable Speaker, a tax system that does not look into the importance of the businesses and how to grow a business is actually inhibiting the growth of a country. And that is why the national policy is actually having a global look from the lowest level to the big businesses, the macro, the big businesses, the small businesses, and even the people who are in the payroll, and even the people who are actually in the informal sector. So I want to say that this is a very important policy, and this gives a direction under which we as a country, in all sectors of the economy, be it agriculture, be it in the innovation, in technology, and in all these other aspects, so that we do not develop taxation systems or policies that do not favor the growth of the industries that we have. Lastly, Honorable Speaker, if you look at this policy, it has aligned, it seeks to establish tax incentives and exemption scheme that is aligned with the Kenya's development agenda. The taxes that we have, if not well taken care of, if not well actually administered, is actually going to make the investors run away. So this is a very good policy, and I want to ask that the chair, this is the right way to go, and very soon our economy will grow well. Thank you so much, and I support.
The MP for Mosop.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir, for this opportunity that you've given me to also contribute on this debate on tax policy 2023. Allow me to thank the committee for the great job that they have done this far to make sure that we overhaul the whole tax policy in the country because of the challenges that we've had in the past in collecting taxes. Kenya is one of the countries that actually collects taxes, but at the rate at which it's collected is low. So the committee, by sitting down and looking at all the challenges that this country have gone through, I want to commend them. I support the suggestions and the policies they are bringing forth. One is enhancing transparency in tax processes, addressing the challenges that there is a huge population in this country that are not really being taxed. And as such, the committee has given proposals on how we can actually increase our tax base. If we increase our tax base, that means we are going to get more taxes. But the current tax policy in place does not actually address these matters. One of the areas also they looked into is a very difficult area to tax, like the digital sector. There is a lot of business that is going on in digital world, but the current system does not factor in as to what can be done to tax those particular businesses. But this tax policy that has been brought forth by the committee is giving suggestions on ways on how we can go about it so that we can actually collect more taxes from digital businesses. Also, they came up with solutions to aching tax system that we've had for a very long time. And we continue to use the same. Any investor who is planning and coming to the country, the first thing they look at is the tax policy of that country. And if it's not favorable to their businesses, they will not even consider coming to invest in Kenya. And as such, I want to commend the committee because they sat down and look at what factors can we do to make it attractive for most of the businesses to come into this country. And also on this tax policy, they have included. And as such, it is going to help us as we move forward as a nation to make sure that our taxes are favorable to the businesses and also to the individuals, and also that we are increasing the tax base to make sure that everybody is paying their fair share. There is also a huge population and a huge businesses that are also evading taxes in this country. And as such, the tax policy has addressed those matters and those issues as to what can be done to make sure that those individuals who are evading taxes, they will be able to pay and they'll be able to arrest them as well. So there are so many activities, there are so many suggestions that I support these suggestions from this committee that if we continue, if we are going to enact this new tax policy, Kenya is going to increase its revenue. As well, it is going to be fair and transparent for most of the businesses when they are paying, and it is going to attract a lot of investors in this country to make sure that they come to Kenya and invest. With that, Mr. Speaker, I support. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The Honorable Catherine Omanyo, MP for Busia.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This tax thing is a headache. I think it is being implemented haphazardly, and it is becoming something that somebody gives you snow in your hands and tells you that in a couple of years, this snow will still be in your hand. You know those nations that our majority leader was counting and giving a percentage of how much they deduct? Those nations sealed gaps of corruption. Those nations, their systems work. Our nation is suffocating with so many issues to the level that any Kenyan today, if they were to stand and say the truth loud enough, the truth is this government is a burden to everyone, including the president himself. So we need to rethink before we introduce so many other taxes, because Kenyans are already bleeding dead, and we do not want to make our own people who we are supposed to protect to be suffering because of these dubious and crafty or dodgy agendas that we suddenly wake up to. I know very well that most of these things that we have been forced to accept, we were not even asked. Kenyans don't know. Where was public participation done?
You know, Honorable Speaker, is it in order for the Honorable Member to completely misinform this House? I think, Honorable Speaker, before the Honorable Member contributes to this debate, let her take time to at least read what she's contributing to, because saying that we're introducing dubious, crafty taxes on this is completely wrong and completely out of order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to inform my colleague very well that if you want anybody to accept what you want to introduce to me, let me also participate. Kenyans are stakeholders. Kenyans voted and trusted that we are coming to put their interest first. All of us at the crack of dawn wake up to this news. So you cannot keep giving me something to swallow And I do not understand how you prepared, with who you are actually benefiting. So these tax levies, housing levies, everything to do with tax is a burden.
Order, Honorable Omanyo. It's also part of the standing orders of the House that you maintain relevance. And the relevance in this case is that this is the creation of a national tax policy. It's not a tax that's being debated right now. It is the institution that is going to be managing the taxes in the future. So it's a sessional paper. Sessional papers are basically policy papers that the government churns out. So whether we need a national tax policy or not is what should become the gist of the debate. Proceed, Honorable Omanyo.
Thank you for that, but anything that is introduced is suspicious, Mr. Speaker. I do not trust anymore. Let the Kenyans decide, come up with their own ways, then bring up. We will help. Because I've heard the majority leader talking of housing levy, talking of milk tax, who was taking, I don't know where he was taking us to. And nobody corrected him when he was talking about milk. I knew who he was mentioning. But I just want to beg again, it is too much. Let us have things that work, not just beautiful theory, but pragmatism nil. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Member for Nyando, Jared Okello.
I thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity, and on the same breath, delve into this sessional paper number 2 of 2023 on national tax policy, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, this government puts the horse before the cart, or puts the cart before the horse. What ought to have happened in the early days of this administration was to bring this sessional paper with very good recommendations on expanding the tax bracket, Honorable Speaker, so that what we witnessed with our court a few days ago on the housing levy that talked about discrimination only targeting the salaried, this could have been cured if this sessional paper was brought in good time, Honorable Speaker. And therefore, we have caught ourselves into this situation at a time when the whole country, let me borrow from the words of my sister, Honorable Omanyo, that the country is bleeding. Honorable Speaker, you go anywhere in this country, and I tend to believe that certain times when people occupy positions of authority, they block their ears to anything else but sycophancy. So when Kenyans are talking about the burden on their shoulders in terms of taxation, then something needs to happen. And this sessional paper, if properly midwifed, can give a remedy to the few who are in the tax bracket now and have to contend with servicing all the expenses of our country, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, it becomes very difficult for any government to target those who are not salaried, those in the informal sector. It's very difficult. Unless you are charging VAT on the products that they consume, any other tax targeting those in the informal sector becomes quite a challenge to marshal and to put inside the basket, Honorable Speaker. I do not know what can cure the economy of this country, because none other than the Deputy President, Honorable Rigathi Gachagua, who was here for one term, came out openly and said, we have lost track of this country. We don't know how to fix the economy, and anyone who has an idea should come forth, and they will listen, without providing a platform upon which all those proposals will be channeled to, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Kimani Kuria.
Honorable Speaker, is it in order for my good friend, Honorable Kello, to mislead this House? because the statement that His Excellency the Deputy President said that we do not have, that there is no plan and anybody will come to that idea is actually not a fact. It's actually untrue. I was with His Excellency the Deputy President during the 40th ISPA conference in Mombasa, and it's important to put the context in which that conversation was said. So to say that we have no plan and anybody and we have no direction and anybody who wants to come and advise, that is completely out of order and necessary, and the honorable member should retract that statement because it's not true.
Proceed, Honorable Okello Jared.
I thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Whereas I speak very good Luo, I also equally speak much better English than when I speak Luo, Honorable Speaker. And when the Deputy President speaks, I don't need any further interpretation because I know English very well. Aside from that, Honorable Speaker, we just saw a few days ago the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics giving us a report that over 10,000 farms have since severed their relations with Nairobi Stock Exchange. That is a testament to things working the wrong way in this country, Honorable Speaker. Today, the Nairobi Stock Exchange tinkered with certain regulations so that they can have those already in the net because everybody is getting out. Just today is when they did that, Honorable Speaker, something that they ought to have done immediately. A few companies were getting out of the scheme, Honorable Speaker. And therefore, the National Dialogue Committee, which has given certain recommendations, some of which have been trashed by this administration, if given an opportunity, could have brought forth workable ways of addressing the challenges, the perennial challenges that we experience as a country. Honorable Speaker, no country can develop through taxation, and I don't know where this government learned that a country can only move through taxation. One fundamental thing that you must do, Honorable Speaker, is to widen the manufacturing sector, not heaping a lot of taxes on an already taxed populace. And when these taxes that also continue to shift from one taxation regime to another taxation regime, no investor wants to come to a place where there is no certainty. All investors would want, first and foremost, stability, then number two, certainty in terms of taxation. But when we have to change and reposition all our taxation regimes, then that portends great danger to this country, Honorable Speaker. It is quite absurd that those in government, and taking a tangent from my very initial statement, tend to block their ears on the plight of every Kenyan, including very good ideas that they should have benefited from. Today, when we talk about this, they say we belong to the opposition, as if this country belongs to only Kenya Kwanza. This country, when we are suffering, everybody is suffering. And by the way, I've lately seen what happens in Rift Valley, where cabinet secretaries cannot be given an opportunity to address any gathering. They are not talking to those cabinet secretaries. They are talking to their appointing authority that we are tired of you and your taxation regimes. So something must happen. Whether this sessional paper will address it, I don't know. But as pessimistic as every other Kenyan, I am equally very pessimistic, and I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
The Honorable Njeri Maina.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I think it is very imperative for members of Parliament to be honest to the citizens of this nation. Honorable Speaker, there is no other way that any government raises money internally besides collection of revenue. Honorable Speaker, I hear members lobbying for projects in their constituencies, for roads and other amenities and infrastructure. And I wonder, where do they expect that money to come from? Honorable Speaker, this sessional paper brought forth by my very good friend, Honorable Kuria Kimani, the Member of Parliament for Molo constituency, is going to ensure equity and fairness. It's going to act as a guide for any other future legislation in regard to taxation, Honorable Speaker. So, Honorable Speaker, it is, of course, populist to throw around words to deem or purport to defend and protect the interests of the people, whereas we are really not telling them the real and dire situation that this country has been in for years. Honorable Speaker, perhaps what we should be questioning and demanding is to ensure that the monies that are collected and or borrowed are applied to the very benefit of Kenyans in this nation, Honorable Speaker. What we should be angling at is to ensure that our health sector, which is ailing, Honorable Speaker, in many parts of this country, our education sector, Honorable Speaker, and other infrastructure like roads, Honorable Speaker. There's always an uproar here when there was a proposition to cut the budget for roads infrastructure, Honorable Speaker. So it is double speak for members to seem to be aggressively fighting against a sessional paper that is going to ensure that there is equity in all constituencies of this nation, Honorable Speaker. I support this very timely sessional paper, Honorable Speaker, for the betterment of our nation. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
The MP for Limuru, John Kiragu.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me an opportunity. I rise to support the sessional paper on tax policy, mainly because it is a good thing for this nation. Mr. Speaker, as a country, we have been spoiled over the years by depending on other people to pay their taxes and for us to go and beg them to support our operations or our development. It is true, Honorable Speaker, countries like Austria, if you declare that in fact you are a Christian, they just take your 10%. And that money is given to many of us here, and we think that it is money that actually is just given to us free. But sometimes, Mr. Speaker, some of these monies come with attachment. All what this policy is calling for is for us to look at the way we do our tax policy. Can we find out the loopholes that have been there? Mr. Speaker, many people have said that people are running out of this country because of taxes. We know there are companies which have existed in this country, mainly because they have been not paying taxes. They have been paying their way through by avoiding taxation. They bring material in this country, make money, and they don't contribute the rightful share for the taxation. We know even the hotel industry, Mr. Speaker, that there are people who are paid overseas, and the visitors come here, and in fact, they leave nothing in this country. And we never get to know how much tax they ought to surrender to this nation. What I see in this policy is a strategy for us to enlarge our base so that not only those people who are salaried, but also we also look at the other people who are left out. Mr. Speaker, if you go around this country and you see the herds of cows and goats and even milk production, even in my own home area, you find people who sell this milk. There is no record of how much they get and how much they pay as tax. If only we can approach these people who are outside the bracket and ensure that they also pay tax, we can support ourselves. So I feel that the strategy is right. This policy is good for us to adopt. It is good for us to finally establish that as a nation, we will not develop by begging and kneeling down to our masters outside there. It is about time we looked at our problems and we looked for solutions to our problem. I support.
MP for Game.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, I want to congratulate the MP for Molo, the Honorable Kimani, for this policy paper. I think it's important that members have given their views, but as I listen to the members, some of them lost the context in that conversation. Because I think the policy objective, for any policy objective for this kind of policy is to expand the tax base so as to enhance fairness and equity in tax system, which I think this is what the Honorable Kimani is looking at curing, so that issues of equity, issues of taxation are fairly expended on the members of the public and the business community, so that the country can grow. And it's important to note, this country cannot grow without a tax. We have loans to pay as a country, and without taxing the citizenry for the services that they enjoy, the country cannot redeem himself in terms of the loans that we took many years ago. And I believe the loans that we take now, our grandchildren will have opportunity to enjoy the services, but pay for those loans. So, Mr. Speaker, I rise on Standing Order 95 and request that the mover be called upon to reply.
Order. Order the MP for Game. Order the MP for. You don't rise on a point of order to call the mover to reply after you have made your own contribution. Only somebody who has not made a contribution can rise on a point of order. In any case, you did not rise on a point of order. You are given an opportunity by the chair. The Honorable Richard Yegon.
Mr. Speaker, thank you very much. I also rise to touch on this tax policy, and I would like to say that, Mr. Speaker, for a country to run very well, we need to look at how we get all these taxes in place and put them in order to make sure that the challenges we have faced before in collecting all these taxes has to be looked into to safeguard all these challenges where we have been facing as a country. There is no country in the whole world which ran without the issue of taxes. The tax policy is something which we as a country need to implement on a very serious, as a serious issue. And Mr. Speaker, I know even the people who have been making a lot of, like my able colleague, Charity Okello, whereby even if they come to power tomorrow, I know they are going to come and increase the taxes for them to make the government run. In fact, I know where we are now, we are heading to the right direction. And I beg to support this motion, Mr. Speaker. Thank you very much.
The MP, nominated MP, Jackson Kosgei. The Honorable Jackson Kosgei.
Thank you. Thank you, Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I take the floor and support the motion on this sessional paper concerning taxation. Mr. Speaker, it has been said by the scholars studying the rise and fall of empires in history that two things brings down nations and regimes. One is what they consider as an internal decay, the failure to cap those things that undermine what people do in order to survive. Number two is the wrong fiscal policy, in that the nation, if it is not able to balance between meeting its own bills and the raising of revenues, it destabilizes a nation. And therefore, it is very important to consider that this sessional paper that will provide policy framework, and with an intention of bringing everybody on board so that in an equitable way we can contribute towards the generation of wealth in our country. I support, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Wako Naomi.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for allowing me to add my voice to this very important debate, as I also stand to support this session of paper number 2 of 2023 on the tax policy, and also congratulate Honorable Kimani, number 2.
You're right, it's number 2 of 2023. Proceed.
2023, yes. And also congratulate Honorable Kimani for bringing this to this honorable house. Again, I would want to encourage our young people, because anytime Honorable Kimani, does his work diligently as the chair, I am encouraged, because we have many young people outside there who can emulate, who can be inspired by him, and who can see some of the good work that young people can do to serve this country in the best possible way. I support this because the policy offers solution to the ailing tax system by promoting equality in tax administration and providing policy guidelines. At the moment, Honorable Speaker, many Kenyans are crying because of the taxation, and everybody talks about this. This is just because in the past we've not had good policies in place that have guarded us and our interest, but once we put this in place, then we will be able to protect our citizens and also take care of ourselves in many ways. Again, in this policy, we have also seen that we have a huge untaxed informal sector that the government can tap into by having innovative way to increase the tax collection. Honorable Speaker, this will help us because at the moment we know very well that Kenya has suffered in the past because of a lot of borrowing and debts that have been there before, and especially Kenya Kwanza is now paying, and we have a lot of things that we need to put into consideration. And if we have this policy in place, we will be able to collect the taxes even from the informal sectors, whereby currently we are not taxing, and we will be able to sustain our country. There is nothing as good as self-sustaining and depending on your own self. And as Africans, we have in the past depended a lot on grants, depended a lot in begging others. But if our country can set example to the others by sustaining ourselves, giving support to our citizens, living a better life, and giving best education to our young ones, serving the elderly well, and even those who are vulnerable in our society, there is nothing else can be better than that. Honorable Speaker, with those few remarks, I support.
MP for Masinga. Masinga, proceed.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I just want to take a minute or so to congratulate the Finance Chair for bringing this sessional paper, number 02 of 2023. What I wanted to just put my word on is that the government had started very well especially to guide and to guard the foreign exchange by introducing the EPZ and the SEZ, so that the manufacturers who are able to secure a space can be able to manufacture goods and export them, so that we have more revenue, because when they are bringing the raw materials was supposed to be brought free of charge, without duty, without VAT, even excess duty. But when they sell, the money comes now in foreign exchange in this country. So I would like the government to keep on stressing on this exercise which they had started, so that we can have revenue collection in terms of foreign exchange. It is very difficult now to import anything, even to do a tender, and then you say after 3 months is when it will be awarded, and then you make anything, because the dollar is exchanging differently every day. And therefore it is very, very, very hard to do a business of importation. So the only persons that are benefiting are the exporters of vegetables, exporters of flowers, and so forth, because they are selling in foreign exchange. But also they should be encouraged, so that the foreign exchange, when they are paid in dollars or euros, that money helps the country to be able to have reserves in terms of foreign exchange in our banks. Be left out, they should continue to fulfill exactly what they were doing before, and even what they are supposed to do now. Like now, last year there was a budget to expand the Ndongo-Kundu special economic zones, and now I understand it's being taken over by KPA, which will be benefiting the KPA. The incomes will be benefiting KPA instead of coming to benefit the companies that are, instead of the companies that are there, they'll be paying the taxes to KPA instead of paying to the government. So these things should not be done anyhow without coming to the parliament or the committees of parliament, so that we can be able to discuss and be able to set the records right. So I support this sanctional paper, and I think the policies which are here are good. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Members, there being anybody else interested in contributing on this motion, on this motion, well, I will call upon the mover to reply. Proceed, Honorable Kuria Kimani, to reply. You can donate some of your minutes.
Yeah, Honorable Speaker, I'd like to donate a minute to
before
my neighbor.
Before you reply, you donate, and then you reply.
Sorry? Oh yes, Honorable Speaker, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. I would like to donate 2 minutes to my neighbor here,
the MP for
Sotik.
Sotik.
Honorable Speaker, I've just tried to raise my hand, but I thank the chairman for this opportunity. Mr. Chairman, I wanted just to commend you through the chair, for the excellent manner in which you have done this job. That the session of paper number 2 of 2023 is a policy paper trying to show the Kenyans the agenda of this government. Mr. Speaker, I want to say that the Kenya Kwanza government is serious in looking at the issue of public debt. And public debt can only be addressed by getting more revenue from within the government, within the country. And therefore, I want to say that this policy is trying to address the issues of the gaps which existed in the past, in trying to broaden the tax base of this country. Mr. Speaker, this country must implement the agenda of giving these services to the people of this country, giving more schools, water, roads. It comes from this policy. Mr. Speaker, I wanted to commend the chairman for this excellent job he has done, and I want to support.
There is no way if I did see you, I would have not given you an opportunity, because in my first time in Parliament, you were the administrator, the DC in my district those days, and one of the most exemplary DCs I've ever seen in this country. And I congratulate you for being also an MP now representing his own constituency. Honorable Sigay, thank you. Yes, proceed, the chair of the committee.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I would really like to thank all the members who have really contributed on this national tax policy, that they took their time to read through it, to sit through up to this time and make these contributions on this national tax policy. I would like to thank them. I'd like to thank the Departmental Committee of Finance and National Planning, the honorable members who, again, we did this work with them. I would like to thank our Secretariat, again, who worked tirelessly to make sure that we produce such a report, Honorable Speaker. In a special way, I would like to thank the 22 stakeholders that gave their views during public participation. Some of them wrote to us, others appeared to us in person, and they had amazing conversation and suggestions on how we could enrich this report. In a very special way, I would like to thank ISPAC, the Institute of Certified Public Accountants Kenya. They also came and sat with us and offered us technical assistance in the way we have drafted our recommendations, Mr. Speaker. The way the report is done is that we are asking the National Treasury to incorporate those amendments that we have proposed, and then the national tax policy will be submitted again to Parliament for approval now, or for publishing now with the said amendments. Honorable Speaker, Kenyans and businesses are concerned that we are having too many changes in our taxes, and by the time they want to make a decision, then sometime by the time they're applying, say, for a license for something, or they're setting up a plant, by the time they're finishing up, then the incentive that made them set up that particular business or a plant for manufacturing then has changed. And therefore, this policy, the first ever since independence, it's important to mention that there has never been a national tax policy. We have policies on everything else, but interestingly, we have never had a national tax policy apart from this one. So this is the first one, and this will now ensure that there is a predictable tax environment, that the tax proposals that will come in future are based on a policy, Honorable Speaker, and even our federal recommendation is giving timelines where particular decisions cannot be changed every year, that they take some time, Honorable Speaker. One of the key things we saw during the Finance Act, for example, was the stakeholders telling us, like when you're checking products that are zero-rated and exempt, where some become zero-rated this year, then the following year they become exempt, then the other year they get to be zero-rated, and some of this unpredictability around these areas is not looking good on us as a destination, as a country, as we try to market Kenya as an investment destination of choice, Honorable Speaker. So I want to assure Kenyans, I want to assure the business community that this national policy will try the best we can to adhere to it, so that we make sure that we have that conducive working tax environment, Honorable Speaker. On the proposals that we've made on expansion of tax base are very, very critical, because if we only had every Kenyan pay their rightful share of tax, then we could even reduce some of these taxes, Honorable Speaker. But what is happening now is we have only a few people on the tax net, and this policy now aims to get a lot more people on the tax base. Because if you have more people contributing towards the national basket, then the burden on individuals contributing to this, Honorable Speaker, will be less. Honorable Speaker, key to note is in my moving earlier this morning, I mentioned the proposals to shield salaried employees from too much taxation, Honorable Speaker. Because if you check how companies are paying their taxes, they're allowed to have deductions on their expenses, on on their taxes, but we find this is lacking in when looking at pay. So as we prepare towards the next conversation in the finance bill of 2024, these are some of the areas that we hope to look into. Honorable Speaker, part of also the people that appeared before us, some of the stakeholders, is a blockchain association of Kenya. Honorable Speaker, the revolution we saw in M-Pesa a few years ago, where now everybody in the country is more or less using a mobile transfer service, and they actually believe, my grandmother in Mukinyai, if you send her money to her phone, she actually believes that money is there. And that is not something that was there a few years ago, before this revolution. And other countries are trying to now catch up. We have now, Apple is coming up with Apple Pay, Google is coming up with Google Wallet. So an interesting phenomenon that's happening in the financial space is the issue of digital assets, bitcoins, and cryptocurrencies. And we have, Honorable Speaker, you'll be surprised that Kenya's is the third largest trader in Africa, and one of the highest traders in the world. Last year, they traded $1.2 billion on this particular cryptocurrencies and bitcoins. And all these areas, we're calling that hard to tax areas. We're saying this country needs to come up with legislation to make sure that there is a legal framework on how they can be used, Honorable Speaker. I know many people had mentioned the issue of housing fund, housing levy, Honorable Speaker, and the judgment. And I would really like to laud the judiciary and the judges for the decisions that they made. Giving as a clean bill of health that the Committee of Finance and National Planning in this Parliament actually did carry extensive public participation. Out of all those clauses that were challenged in court, many of them saw the tests of that it was credibly done, it was properly well done, and therefore this means that Parliament is really improving in terms of making sure that we adhere to the law, because we cannot be the lawmakers that make the law and then become the same people that do not follow the law, Honorable Speaker. And with that, I beg to reply.
Not put the question now. We'll put the question at a later date. The next order. Next order is going to be stood down. We already have a communication. The order number 11 will be stood down. So go to order number 12. Yes, what's your point of order?
Honorable Speaker, I do not think we have quorum to proceed with House business.
Fair enough. I do agree with you. Indeed, we don't have a quorum. And under the circumstances, ring the bell, quorum bell. Sergeant at Arms. For 10 minutes. Order, Sergeant at Arms, except the whips. When there's a quorum bell ringing, nobody's allowed to leave the chamber. So other than Naomi Wako, the other two members of Parliament cannot leave. The Honorable Meli, the rules are clear. You come back. Only the whip is allowed to go and look for members, more members. And the MP for Masinga, Kwalio. It's okay? Order. Honorable members, order. Honorable members, having not attained the quorum at the expiry of 10 minutes of the quorum bell, the time being 6:30 p.m., this House stands adjourned until Tuesday, the 5th of December, 2:30 p.m.